Wayne Garth, we can see your head moving.
Aw, it's low quality.
Aw.
Did this guy like go to a movie theater and just record this on like a flip phone?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was gonna be all cool, like you're getting queued up for Star Wars. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 77 of the Pilsner Podcast. My name is Tim, that is short for Tames, joined here as always with, I forgot to create a nickname for both of them, so just Corey and Adam. Hello,
Hey, Tim.
fellas.
Hey.
I don't know if you can say joined with as always. I haven't been here in like a month.
Oh, that's right, you're not dead anymore.
No, I'm not dead anymore. Totes wonderful.
That's right.
I
You
wanted to
gave
come
up
back
on
as
R&B.
Totes Wonderful.
That's right.
You blew it already.
Welcome to episode 77. My name is Tim, that is short for Tames. Joined here sometimes with Totes Wonderful and Adam.
Totes?
Small wiener went.
That's a little harsh.
What I finish?
You want to finish that?
I'll finish it.
I like it, but I'll share more with you.
What's up, fuckers?
Oh, what a pretty can.
Oh, and by the way, I think the last time we were talking about Untitled Art, they do have a tap room too.
Oh, yeah. Because you said you're
used the
not
Google
sure.
Machine,
Yeah.
the Google Booby machine. Found out.
The booby machine.
All right, so Corey, you're back. What the hell?
Yeah,
Why have you been gone?
Busy man.
you're not that busy.
No. What else you got?
I'll beg to differ that I've been busy. You can ask my spouse.
I thought you were going to say sponsor.
my AA sponsor. What beer are we drinking?
Well, it's great to have you back, Corey. Before we do anything major, you were gone. We never talked about this with you. Got any thoughts on the Super Bowl?
No. The commercials were okay.
Wait a minute. We never talked about this, me and you, and I had it in my notes. What did you think of the ASMR Michelob Ultra ad? I wanted to throw my phone across the room and just scream. I had to mute that right away. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my God, they put that girl like on top of a mountain and she's got one of those like HD microphones and she just whispers into it.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Oh, it's so cringeworthy.
I was more getting a kick out of the corn syrup commercials.
The Bud Light ad.
Yeah. I mean, and then people are like, farmers are pissed at Bud Light.
Big corn.
Understandably, like, I get it. But if you look at the Anheuser-Busch lineup as a whole, those are about the only two beers that they make is the Miller is Bud Light is about the only one they make that doesn't have corn syrup in it.
Oh, okay.
The rest, like everything else that Anheuser makes.
Like Busch Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait a minute. It's Bud Light, right?
yeah.
On Twitter, Bush was going after Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, right?
Confusing, isn't it? That's what they want.
It's the same companies, too.
So Bush is
Yes.
arguing and siding with Coors Light
Yeah,
on Twitter over the corn syrup thing.
and Bush is like, they're
Owned by the
the
same.
they're
Bud Light.
the small time brand, so they can't afford to do the Super Bowl, but they were all over the Daytona 500 this past weekend.
I was trying to
It's the
get
redneck beer of choice.
so Bush Light was
Busch.
whoever was running their Twitter account was like,
Canford car or something.
well, they were like responding to like anybody that was ripping them.
Mhm.
So I was like posting stuff from the podcast account and from my personal account trying to get a response back from Bush Light, and they just wouldn't
take.
take on it. Nope, I was disappointed.
Shoot.
I thought it would make for great fodder.
Fodder.
Otherwise, the game was okay. The halftime show sucked.
Did you listen to our last show?
No,
We talked about the halftime
Maybe.
show, and I said, how do we fix the halftime show? What's your dream show?
Oh, yes. You would have been proud of me, Corey. I had Elvis.
Oh yeah. Two scenarios. One, play by the current rules, where you got to appeal to like 80% of America, have probably two different acts that are both famous, and then the other scenario is whatever you want.
Well, that's the problem is that they're trying to appeal to 80% of the country,
You can't.
and yeah, I mean, unless you're gonna stick with like absolute icons that, like, I would argue, even though I'm not a country fan, I would say if you had Garth Brooks do a halftime
Ooh,
show,
yeah.
that a fair amount of the country would be into it.
Yes.
I don't think they will ever do a country act as the main attraction. Maybe the smaller act, you know?
Yeah, but I'm not talking Florida Georgia line.
No, I know what you're saying. I really don't think they would. Just the way it's heading, just
Right.
the whole appeal thing. It's like it's got to be pop or at least rock and roll. Otherwise, it's probably like they've had rappers and stuff the last 5 years.
I knew who Adam Levine was, the Maroon 5, but the other guys that were on with him,
Big Boy.
yeah, if they would have said one half of Outkast, I would have been like, oh, that's who that is. But like the whole time they were like, it never clicked in my mind when they were promoting Big Boy that like that's who that was.
With Andre 3000.
Right.
They should have just had Outkast.
Right, like, or
They're
just
in
one
Atlanta.
half of Outkast.
No, they
Right.
just should have straight up had Outkast instead of Maroon 5.
I mean, I think the problem that we run into though is that there are very few musical acts in this day and age that have the icon status of someone like Michael would have, or like a Prince would have, or
Well, it's
I mean,
that
who's out
and
there today that
It's that, and who really puts on a good show?
Exactly. I was just going to say you could have Paul McCartney, but he'd be boring.
right,
Elton John would be boring.
right.
You have to like interact with the crowd with Super Bowl act.
I know you don't want to hear it, but Bruce would be good at that.
Bruce is one that they could have, and
He's like the country, or he's like the rock version of Garth Brooks.
Right.
He's the
For sure.
the classic
But
rock version.
in that same sense, I think the NFL is trying too hard to reach the kids. And I honestly think that you would have a lot of Mike Colton knows who Bruce Springsteen is, but I would guarantee that there's a lot of kids in his class that would be like, who?
Oh, but dude,
Who's this?
how cool would if you would have, before they decided that they're only going current, 5 years ago when they were all still sort of alive, AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I don't really like them, but that'd be the only time I'd watch an AC/DC show.
I know of another group, but I don't know if we want to go down this conversation.
TLC?
No.
Oh.
Go
Two
for
Live
it.
Crew?
It's got the crew in it.
Motley Crue?
Yeah.
I could see that,
It might happen next year.
right?
They're coming out with 4 new songs with this movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I read today.
Guns N' Roses is coming out with a new album.
Jeez.
There's
Original lineup.
There's talk of that, yeah.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what Slash said.
Slash is confirming that they're working
I heard
on
the
it.
same
okay.
report you did, and I'm like, you are so reporting that wrong, dude. Slash just said there's an idea being kicked around right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, so they're demoing.
Right.
So
So who's gonna watch the dirt?
I'll watch it.
Definitely. I don't like Motley Crue, but I love 80s hair band stories. Like the behind the music of Poison was so much fun.
I love
Right. They had a shitload
Yeah.
of fun back then.
I enjoy
It's good ideas.
any documentary that is based off of like pop culture things, whether or not I have like an extreme interest in I can not be a Motley Crue fan, but I'm interested in seeing this to
Right.
see the backstory.
Right.
Dude, the
Yeah.
Eagles documentary, it's like 6 hours long. Part 1 and 2 total is like 6 hours long. It's the best documentary on a band I've ever seen. I don't give two shits about the Eagles. I've seen it twice.
I mean, I loved NWA, but I would have rather seen Straight Outta Compton as more of a documentary than. I mean, I thought it was a great movie as well, but
So
I mean, the Wild Ones. Is that the Dr. Dre?
the Wild Ones.
What was the Dr. Dre documentary him and where they came up with like Apple Music.
Oh,
and-
yeah,
and the
yeah.
whole-
I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about with Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that called?
I don't know. It was an HBO film.
Right.
It was 3 episodes long. I don't remember what it was called.
But that was a fantastic,
Right.
documentary. So I think if you do that for anybody, it's going to be awesome.
The right people behind it for
Right.
sure. There was another. Oh, The Dirt is the book, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yep.
the Motley Crue stories. Are they? I've always said they should be making a documentary about that. Are they doing that? I've heard some people call this movie a documentary. I'm like, I watched the trailer. It's a freaking theatrical biopic. It's not a documentary. But then I've heard people say like, well, I think there's 2 coming out. Like
Is the one that you saw the trailer for
the one that came out today.
is that the
Net-
is that the Netflix bit?
Yeah,
Yes.
the March 22nd.
Maybe it's one and the same then. I was under the impression that it was a documentary, but I didn't see the trailer today.
Oh, if you saw the trailer, you would know it's a movie.
Okay.
It's a biopic. It's probably going to be like 2.5 hours long.
Interesting.
I like that they go, we got this kid drummer, we got this guy who can sing, we got this old man on guitar. I'm like, Mick Mars is so old. He's so much older than them. And they show it. They're all kids with like a 30-year-old.
So if this takes off, does that mean Vince Neil ends up canceling his concert at Jackpot next month?
Oh.
No, I doubt that. They'll just be really sold out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good timing for Jackpot. They're
What
going to get a
about-
lot of money. From
Now
this.
they signed contracts on their last tour stating that they would not tour again, and that I want to say there was something in
It's-
there that they would have to refund people tickets.
Yeah.
That and then they can't tour as the name Motley Crue.
Right.
Isn't that weird?
Well, right, because it was supposed to be a farewell tour, and they
What if it's like Mick Mars can't make it out on tour, so it's Mick Mars with Tommy Stinson on guitar. Oh, he played bass. But that's just the
What-
caveat.
what if it's Crotley Move?
There you go.
I mean, I could see them doing a halftime show.
They don't necessarily like. What would be like one show a month? That's not a tour.
Right, or a Vegas residency.
That's
I
true,
heard
yeah.
that suggested.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many loopholes around that.
Like if you go home between shows, that's not a tour.
You play a festival in Europe, and then a month later, you play like U.S. Bank Stadium. It's not a tour.
That's right.
It's a shitload of money though.
Right.
You know who else could do a halftime show? And
Their bodies would they'd be good into their 80s
for sure.
because it's so much easier.
I think the Foo Fighters could legitimately do a halftime show.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I think they've
I
got
said
enough
that.
hits over the last 25 years, mainstream hits that
I said they should let the Foo Fighters do a full 15 minutes on their own.
I mean,
no,
they did the
yes.
concert the Saturday night before,
Mhm.
but I read that they turned down the halftime show because
What?
the NFL wanted so much of it pre-recorded. Like they would let Dave do live vocals, but they wanted all the music parts pre-recorded,
I read in
and they said we don't do that.
I read in Rolling
Good
Stone.
for them.
Right.
Rolling Stone email had a clip, a documentary of them, not a clip, an interview, sorry, with Dave Grohl, and he was saying that they've been offered the Super Bowl, but it was never guaranteed.
Mhm.
And they would always get approached, and they're like, "Do you guys think we want a rock band? Do you think you would be able to play a stadium?" And we're like, "Dude, we do that every night."
Right.
We'd get our hopes up and be like, "And it's gonna happen this time." And then we hear the announcement, Lady Gaga is playing the Super Bowl, so we just gave up on that.
Yeah.
I heard him say that though. So are you sure that you think you've been offered that, or they turned it
I'm
down?
just telling you what I read.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know everyone remember a few years ago when Red Hot Chili Peppers
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Flea had it quickly came out
yeah, you could see the cord hanging that he wasn't plugged into shit.
like Monday. He
Right.
was like, "Oh, I wasn't playing. Just so everyone knows, we're not gonna hide behind."
Yeah.
He's like, they wouldn't let us, but we still wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't you do it? And we're like, dude, no one's on your case about this.
Right. Yeah. Fine. Whatever.
Made for TV.
So we drank that.
But I think the halftime show, I think it's played its course. I think, it should just be done.
What about
Shouldn't do it anymore.
not doing a music bit though? Like I said, just do like an amateur wrestling bit.
Right. Right. Or
Sand volleyball get trucked out there.
So
the guy that swallows swords.
can I?
So
So
plate lady, spinning plate lady on a unicycle.
so in the '90s, a couple times WWE did.
I knew he went there.
No, just listen to me.
The bar.
They did halftime heat.
Okay.
So when the Super Bowl was on CBS and WWE's TV deal was with NBC Universal, they would say, okay, during the halftime show, and like in the late '90s, the one I remember they did The Rock versus Mankind in an empty arena match. And so you could flip over during halftime and they would do the match and you could watch it and then turn it back over.
I remember there being a timer.
And
on the
they did
bottom.
that this year. You could tune in to the WWE Network. They did what, and I watched it later because I have the network, so I could, I watched it that evening after the game. But, how far are we from these halftime shows getting so bad that other networks start doing that and saying, if the Super Bowl's on NBC, CBS putting on a quote unquote halftime show, and they have the Foo Fighters come in and do a show, or whoever, Garth Brooks, whatever. Maybe we start getting to that point where they use it as competition. If the NFL keeps signing these garbage acts for these shows,
maybe we should do a halftime show.
We should next year. I did also hear suggested, and tell me what you guys think. What if they didn't announce who the halftime show was going to be?
Masked Singer.
And no, not Masked Singer. But what if that would help the ratings if there's anticipation to, I wonder who it's going to be, so you stay tuned in.
Yeah, they keep you on the hook that
Right.
long. You're going to count as a rating,
Right.
and then you turn it off.
And then you turn it off.
When your rating already got.
When Adam Levine takes off his shirt.
You're like, I can smell his pits through the TV.
Yeah.
He just looks.
Good thing they don't have smell-o-vision.
It did
Rat from
persuade
the
me to get a
sewer.
belly tap, though.
Thug Life.
No, I was originally thinking Minnesota, like he had California,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I have the pain threshold, so I thought I would just do Sanborn because it's less letters.
Yeah.
And I put that on Facebook, and a buddy of mine in Sioux Falls that is very good friends with somebody that owns a tattoo shop out there is like, I'll pay for it. I'll get you in the chair if you're going to do a tummy tat. I'm like, I don't think my wife would like a tummy tat very much.
Get a Red Rock one.
Red Rock Central. That would be awesome.
No, but back to your thing quick about the flip to the wrestling thing.
Yep.
I remember that there was a timer on the bottom, like go back to the NFL and then they'd always finish the match before that.
Yep.
I'm pretty
Of
sure
course.
MTV did it too back in the day with like a boy band. I remember hearing, or I might have heard about that.
Like, I mean, that's the great thing about professional wrestling is somehow every single week, all the matches and everything time out just perfectly to get done by 10 o'clock. Right?
It's almost
Right when the
as
TV show is
not real.
they never have to go over.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
Are
It's
you
almost like it's not real.
are you interested in that Fighting with My Family movie?
I would say that movie is being made 20 years too early because that gal just retired.
I didn't know it was based on a real story.
Yeah, so she did not have any, she started wrestling when she was 14, 15, 16 over in Europe. Like, her family is legit, her parents are, I wouldn't say the McMahons of Europe, but they're, well known. They have their own wrestling federation over there. So she started wrestling at a young age. She came to WWE. It was a big deal for 5-6 years, and then she had a neck injury a year ago and had to retire.
Okay.
So
It looks like a Hallmark movie.
she didn't have enough longevity, and
So you watching it?
you're making a movie about somebody that just retired. So really, no, I don't have much interest in it because it was made
Yes.
too soon.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you need that the legend to build. You need a documentary in there first for the mainstream people to even know. I didn't know it was based on
Right,
anything
exactly.
reality.
I think if this movie was being made about, say Trish or Lita. I mean, do you guys even know who that is?
Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
And Lita
You know,
Ford
but I
from
mean-
the Runaways.
But I mean, I don't think that she's got enough mainstream.
Lita was with those
two extreme guys.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
There's a weird threesome happening there.
Yes. In real life,
What the hell was she? Who is the extreme guys?
the Hardy
There
brothers.
you go.
Yeah,
There,
the Hardy
there.
Boys.
Yes.
Still wrestling, by the way.
They are.
Yeah.
When you said the Hardy brothers, I pictured the damn Dudley's brothers.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've talked about wrestling.
The Dudley Boys. One of them still wrestles, but
Nerd glasses.
nah, they're over that. They don't do that whole bit anymore. But the Hardys, one did just supposedly retired, and now he's like rumors that he's come back.
Okay.
The other one is still like full-time active wrestling. We just watched him in a elimination chamber match on Sunday night.
How old are these
Oh,
guys?
he's got to be in his 40s. I mean, that's the biggest complaint with WWE is that they won't let go of these guys that they've got so much young talent, but they won't let go of these guys that really have no business
Got it.
being out there anymore.
Got it.
But yeah, you brought it up halftime heat. Oh yeah, and then you brought up the movie. But yeah, so she doesn't have enough mainstream. I think the wrestling fans will watch it, some of them, but that's my thoughts on it. Colton and I just discussed it last night because I said, "Do you have any interest in this?" And he's like, "No." So
What about the dirt track racing movie with John Travolta that's coming to theaters?
didn't know nothing about it.
Oh, I can't wait to see that shit show. It's gonna make like $500,000, I'm sure, at the most.
Is this like Days of Thunder only with?
Like with late models. Yeah, I can't wait.
We need
I'm gonna
to
watch that.
I don't know what it's called, but look, John Travolta, IMDb him. Look
we
at
need
his
to
latest
come up.
movie.
We need to start getting back into
Okay.
our weekly bets so we can dish out punishments.
I watched that Vanilla Ice movie.
Because I was disappointed that NASCAR was on yesterday, and I didn't even know NASCAR was
Yeah.
starting. And we aren't doing any bets, but it would be perfect because I could make you watch the Fighting with My Family movie, and you could make me watch the John Travolta dirt track race.
Oh, here's the thing. Fighting with my family wouldn't have been a major punishment because it doesn't look like a piece of shit. I'm just not interested in it.
Right.
I would be like, oh no, I gotta watch that. Big deal. It's not. It doesn't look.
How was the
awful.
Vanilla Ice movie?
Dad.
Awesome, right?
Oh my gosh, that was probably one of the best surprises. It was my daughter's first movie.
Oh, really?
It was cool as ice.
Great. I'm sure she was thrilled.
My God, it's been. I watched that right away. It's been like a month. I hardly remember any of it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Adam, did you do your homework assignment that we gave you via text?
Watching.
Abducted in
Yeah.
plain sight?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into that yet, or do you
I
want
want to do another beer because
Yes.
I've
Okay.
only had a
Well,
swallow
do
of
we want-
beer.
well, that's why I'm sitting here
Same.
holding
I'm
this
like,
can, waiting to do it like
Let's
a
do
can
this
read.
thing.
So this one was Untitled Art Chocolate Scotch Ale. That's pretty much it. No can read on these. What'd you guys think?
What was the?
was good.
The percentage? In
8% ABV.
Yeah.
We had just the right amount.
I've never had a Scotch ale before. or,
I hadn't either, but
chocolate
I
Scotch ale.
really like this.
Yes. I don't know how many I could have, but I like it.
Now, at 8%, I'm not having many.
It's a 4-pack.
I was pleasantly surprised that sometimes the Scotch
Comes through
ales
too
come
much.
through too much for me.
Yes.
But this didn't. I really liked it. I would give it. You know what it actually tasted like? I think the chocolate Tootsie Pops.
Oh, now that you say that,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could call it a Tootsie Pop beer.
right. That's what they should have
I
done.
smell beer and candy.
I'm gonna give it a 3.6.
Damn, Corey. I wrote 3.75.
Damn, Tim.
I'm at 3.5. Good beer. Really good beer.
Good beer, great oldies. Let's have another beer.
So do you want to do the Saturday things, or do you want to do the staycation?
Big Yellow Crawler.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know you were naming beers. Saturday Phase or Staycation. I'm like, what movies are those? Well, which one are we talking about next?
That's true.
I don't know how much. I probably poured too much.
I shared a crowler of Mr. Falcon this weekend. Feels so good.
It's got a
Finish
berry
that pour.
nose.
Holy crap. Get left in there, and I'll take it. Holy cow. That smells fantastic. Adam's face says otherwise when he tastes it.
No. I'm just letting it go. Just letting it go across the tongue.
It's way more tart than I expected.
More passion fruit in it
Yep.
than strawberry. But yeah.
Wowza.
It's tart. Like that does not taste like a beer at all.
It doesn't look like it should taste like that. It looks like an IPA. Kind of.
Yeah, the
More
darkness.
than
I was expecting a little more bitter to it.
Right. It is a straight up. That's a sour sucker.
Wow.
What is this beer called for writing it down?
This is called Saturday Things, Sherbert style IPA from Junkyard Brewing in Moorhead, Minnesota.
I could drink this like nonstop all day.
No, the passion fruit didn't we have that
Yes.
through Dangerous Man? Did we have a passion fruit
I think so.
milkshake
Now that you say that,
on the 12-hour?
I thought you. What was last week's Untitled Art?
That's tiki,
Okay.
and that was
This isn't beer. This is not beer. Like I know it technically is, but it's not. You know what I mean?
I got you.
What do you think? Like it's to the point where we should have a new classification of alcohol.
Yeah, because it leans so much towards the taste of ciders.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's why they call this a sherbet style and not a milkshake style?
I don't know. I just know that this doesn't have any reminiscence of any kind of beer that I've ever had before.
No, I can't pick up the strawberry taste.
I pick it up on the back end. This thing on Untapped has a 4.2 average rating,
Wow.
and I gave it a 4.5.
So did I.
So did Tim.
I'm not quite there. I'm like at a 3.9. It's a good beer. I'm not in the fours though on it.
Look at that. The guy who poured the most likes it the least of the
Right.
two of us.
I'm not saying I'm not going to drink it.
You're like, I also didn't give it a low score.
Yeah, 3.9 is a
That's
damn
elite.
good score.
That's an elite score.
But I just can't quite call it a 4 beer yet.
I can. This is something that, even though I'm saying like it's not a beer, I'm saying all those negative things. I love it. I just don't think it's not a beer to me. It is a beer, but it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not like anything I've ever tasted before.
Right.
I mean, if you told me this was strawberry passion fruit juice mixed with 7-Up, I'd be like, no, it tastes like it.
Right.
Okay.
You kind of hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. You're a flavor expert.
Thanks.
Which one's next? Because let's pass it around while we're talking about the movie, so we don't get into that.
Okay. So do you want to?
Do the or that one next. Okay. We're in no rush to open it. It's just this is going to go on for a while. This talk.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. What? Hang on. We're gonna start it at 30. We're at 29, 51, 52. Getting ready for a spoiler, guys.
So turn off for a while if you do not want to hear spoilers for
Okay, you can go.
Abducted in plain sight is the most fucked up thing I have
Oh.
ever seen in my entire life. What kind of father is that guy?
Yeah.
How did he?
He's a
You
terrible.
guys say something. 'Cause
I was speechless.
Those are the dumbest
I was-
fucking parents in the world.
Yes, I mean, I'm like,
They're just
Do
letting
they-
this dude sleep in her bed.
so these people are the people that we talk about that, okay, there's no common sense in this world. They add to that big time, don't they?
They seem so nutty. Like they both just seem like people that could get.
I mean,
they both cheat on each other with the same guy.
so the dad, the mom, and the 12-year-old daughter were all sleeping with this guy.
Yeah.
This fucking Rico Suave convinced the dad to jerk him off in the car because he needed some relief because he hated his wife.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I like you guys.
Oh God, where's this going?
I like
there
you
was
too,
no
Carter.
way you could convince me to be like, I just need some relief.
I bet I could.
I mean, could you
No, you
imagine?
Because I was thinking about this, the same thing what you're just talking about. I'm like, I don't care how close friends you are. I don't care if you spoon me. I don't care if you do all that other kind of stuff.
Nope.
I'm not going to give you a handy.
Here's how it works.
Right.
I win the Mega Millions and become a $1.6 billion winner, and I'll just keep adding to it until you go, okay, and you start reaching it over, and I'm gonna go, what is wrong with you? And slap it away. You were gonna do it. You're like, you said $6 million. Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't.
I know.
Not even for 6.
$6 million.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would.
You would too. We all would.
Not barehanded.
$6 million. Come on.
Fuck, I'd give you a blowjob for 20.
I'm just saying. Okay, think about it. You do that to yourself every day, and then someone's gonna offer you like,
Blowjob?
no.
Man, you don't look that flexible. But congratulations.
Oh yeah, it's been a struggle getting over old Humpty here. No, but for
You
that amount of
named it.
money, you'd be like, you know what? I'm retired after 30 seconds. Fuck it. What's your number?
I haven't thought about it, but when you said 20, it made me think of someone who is very high ranking at Christensen Farms at this point in his life.
I'm just trying to get Corey to say that because I know his mom listens.
No, I don't have a number. But
I don't think I would either.
so this was 15, 20 years ago when I was working at Christensen Farms. We were at break, and one of the guys was like, how much money would it take for you to go out there and fuck a pig?
Oh.
And we, and I was overhearing this conversation. For the record, I was not involved in it. It was it was a manager and then two manager type position people that were there visiting. And the one guy's like, would you do it for $1 million? And the other one said, for $1 million, this ties into our earlier conversation. He says, for $1 million, I'd fuck it at the halftime of the Super Bowl.
I mean, dude, it's life-changing money.
$1 million isn't really anymore, though.
Yes, it is. It so is. It's not necessarily enough to quit on, but it's enough to quit enough to let you sit and think about what you want to do with your life.
For sure.
I mean, are you talking that before taxes or after taxes?
No, just say you have $1 million. Yeah, currently at my age, I couldn't quit, but I could stop working and just live frugally, don't blow it, and just
Right.
think, what do I want to do? And I either have enough money to do it, or I have enough money to get a loan to do it. If it's something extravagant,
Right.
If I want to open a bar
I
in
mean-
Springfield, I need $100,000 at the most.
The biggest thing it would do is $1 million would allow you to live comfortably because you're going to pay off your house, you're going to pay off your cars, and depending upon,
See if you can make it till you get to Social Security. When's that kicking in? Your 60s?
65, I think, at this point.
62, you can start drawing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I got.
But depending
But
upon
you don't get that much.
your home, even in Springfield, you could easily have a $250,000 home in Springfield, and you pay that off, and there's a quarter of your money is gone right there.
Yes.
And then you pay off a couple vehicles, and you're up to $300,000. You got $700,000 left. For some people, that's less than 10 years income for a family. So, I mean, it's definitely not going to last you forever. It's going to make you comfortable. You're not going to worry about your bills as much, but you're still going to keep your job and live.
You also got to remember you're
I'd quit. I'd
gaining
start
interest
something.
on that.
I'd be starting something for sure. I would quit my job immediately, and I just got to think, what am I going to start?
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough money where you can comfortably be like, fuck it, I'm not working for 6 months while I figure this out.
For me, it is.
Yeah.
For real. Like, it just means that, okay, like, pay everything off and then just sit for a while. Like, don't go out to eat as much.
Well, I mean,
Even that, I'm like, what? The biggest bill I've had lately has been like a $17 Subway bill. It's not that big a deal.
I mean,
That money's not just sitting there; it's collecting interest too.
well, I
So you
understand
gotta
that, but I
remember
would probably still just keep working and I would put it away and have it for when I retire at 65 because we don't know what's going to be there for Social Security when we reach that
They'll be
age.
there. They'll be
Yeah,
there.
I'm just at the point where I'm like, this is the same job I've been doing since high school. I'm ready for something new. Yeah. Let's start a small craft beer bar.
Sounds good.
All I need is you
All
to
right,
support me, be a customer.
I'm there.
Okay, so we just went on a 5-minute tangent. It was fun, but
It was fun.
we just wasted.
Yeah, we went down that fucking hole.
We said like 2 minutes of the show. Okay, so you said you guys say something. What were you gonna say?
I could gone on about that family forever. Like, imagine your best friend. I mean, so this guy was close with the family before this stuff started. Like, he worked his way in and became very close with the family. But imagine your best friend in the world, and I don't care who it is, but your best friend in the world saying, hey, I'm going to sleep with your daughter tonight in her bed. And you being like, okay, that's no big deal.
My
Or
best friend
them,
is my wife.
them continuously telling you, calling you from across the country because they have your daughter saying, I'm going to marry her. I'm not bringing her back until you will let me marry her. And then them just being like, okay, we'll drop charges. No, put that motherfucker in jail.
Right.
It happened twice. That's the part that gets me.
Right.
He worked his way
Yes.
back in. And then
And he was sleeping with the wife after he kidnapped the daughter the first time.
And then the mom, like, I would be
This is
so
fucked
I would
up.
be so mad at my mom and dad and not like forgive them ever for letting this happen. Like, yeah, she did it as like a 12-year-old. Yeah, the parents should be in charge of the 12-year-old, not like just let her go to what theme park. Well,
Right.
she flew to another state to go work at the park that he bought. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they just let her do that. And then
But like
the mom writes a book about it and profits off the whole thing.
right.
Fuck that.
And then he killed himself
Yes.
by drinking himself to death with Kahlua. Like how
And
much fucking
no,
Kahlua?
and all his was it heart meds or something?
I think it was.
He's
Oh,
on some
okay.
medication.
Okay, I missed that part. I thought he just drank the Kahlua, and I'm like, how much fucking Kahlua does a guy have to drink to die from that?
Gallons.
I mean,
just cutting that guy open for the autopsy.
I mean, even before shit went, even before shit went weird, and this guy's like, I'm gonna take your daughter horseback riding tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
it
That's
just-
how it like started off. That was like right in the
it just
beginning. I'm
seems
like,
weird that.
what,
Dude's
what's the
raping
matter?
her, but only 1 inch, so he doesn't like. They said that, so she like.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
so
break the
like
hymen.
on a medical examination,
Yeah,
there
it
would be
looks-
no,
Yeah.
no sign of abuse.
Okay, so when I was watching this at first, I thought it was actual archival footage. And I'm like, God damn, they were filming fucking everything back then. In my head, I thought that. But then they go to this part where he's like, I tricked him off. And it's like they have footage of that. And I'm like, oh, this isn't real. I'm like, well, why'd they make it grainy and make it look like it was from the 70s? They could have just recreated that with HD video.
That was my thing, is when that guy is like gets all teary eyed and he's like, I did it, and I made the worst decision of my life.
That's the worst decision of your
I'm
life.
like, I think, regardless of how terrible that decision was, the fact that you let this guy continuously spend time with your daughter was probably a worse decision.
I think he was like sleeping over 4 nights a week. in her
Right.
bed.
4 nights a week for 6 months.
And this guy's wife is just. Why don't we know more about her? She was just cool with it.
I think she was just
I think
as
she was in on it.
brainwashed as.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay, I'll say it. I was like 30 minutes into it. I'm like, I'm gonna shut this fucking movie off because this is getting just beyond
deranged.
weird. Yeah,
Well, and that's just it. Is you have daughters,
right.
and so I think
And then I'm like, what the fuck is Corey telling me to watch this movie for?
because it was just like, yeah, I know, but I mean that's why I was just like so fucking. Like
You're gonna love this. It's a good time.
yeah, no, it wasn't. No, you need to watch this. This is fantastic. It's like, how the fuck can this be real? This is mind blowing that somebody could be this stupid
and gullible and
And-
whatever.
and I mean,
ugh.
that guy, like I said, he must have been the smoothest talker.
I was seriously waiting for one of them. I told you this last night when it was just me and you texting, like one of them to go. I mean, it was the 70s.
Right?
You always hear people say that about the 70s.
My favorite guy on that show was
we
was
did
the,
it now.
was the brother,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he sat there like cross-armed the whole time. He's like, he was a pedophile. Yeah,
I knew he was a
I
pedophile.
knew it. What was I gonna do? The guy could sell cars.
I know.
It's like, oh, okay.
He harbors them basically.
Yeah.
And gets
Harbors him because he could sell cars. Never had a salesman like him. It's like, oh Jesus.
He got arrested. I know he didn't have a gun. It's like, well, who cares at this point?
Right.
Don't defend him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird comments like that. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
Take that whole situation and bring it to nowadays.
Of course.
Everyone involved would be in jail.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right. And that, yeah, is that it? Do you think? Anything else to add?
How about him running over the bikers that were protecting the lady in the end, though? Like, oh, and then him like standing up in court and saying that he didn't do anything wrong.
What about the Hell's Angel that's just like people against women getting abused?
Yeah, they were the DACA or whatever, BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I wonder if that's like an actual like hard gang or if it's just like weekend, hardware store workers.
I mean, let's be
Right.
real. Most biking motorcycle clubs are bikers with a heart of gold, right?
I think so.
I mean, they're not all like Hell's Angels and like
Sons of Silence.
Sons of Anarchy.
Most of them have regular jobs.
Regular
When,
jobs.
99% of them.
Yeah.
when I see like all the bikes heading to Sturgis all summer that drive by the lumberyard, sometimes they're wearing vests and I just avoid them. You never know.
I don't know.
They got their like cutoffs and their patches, and I'm just like,
That's how my dad dresses when he gets on his bike on a Saturday
he
afternoon.
probably does it on purpose.
Right.
Like, no one's gonna mess with me. I'm not doing anything bad, but at the same time, I don't even have to have a simple, oh hi, nice bike.
Right.
That's a great ride you got there. My husband's got a.
I mean, I know doctors and lawyers that wear a suit Monday through Friday, but they're in sleeveless like denim on Saturday afternoons with bandanas on their heads and
Okay, so
the
the movie we were talking about was Abducted in Plain Sight. If you're interested,
I got a story about this
okay,
bike.
we're done
thing
talking
real
about
quick.
it.
So a few years ago, I bought this scooter,
15 minutes.
and
Okay. I like where this is
You
going.
badass.
yes,
Fun.
and I needed gas, and it was during Sturgis time, and I pulled up into Eric's,
Yeah.
and there was a bunch of bikers filling up, and I pull up and I shut it off.
You have like a ding,
It was quiet, And I adjust my mirror and I'm like, where are you guys headed? They're like, we're headed to Sturgis. I'm like, cool, can I go? They laugh their asses off.
I'll be about 7 hours behind you. Cool, can I come? Oh my god, that's funny. Let's crack open this next one. We got lots of beers to catch up on.
I know that's when I started looking at my collection. I was like, I better limit what I bring along. So this is the
Open up both of them?
Yeah.
yeah.
Both of them?
The butt crack small batch.
This is the Surly Brewing Company.
Oh, we finally figured it out.
What's up?
You got
Pass
any
it to
more?
him. Pass it to him.
This is the small batch staycation pineapple milkshake IPA. Andy, if you remember, listeners, we used to have a guy named Andy on this show.
He passed.
He's dead.
This is a milkshake?
But from
It's
beyond
fucking clear.
but from beyond the grave, he was telling us that we needed to try this. Oh, there's your camera up there, huh? Look at that.
It almost looks like a Coors Light. But I bet you it won't taste like it.
So Andy was pushing us to try this, which means that it's probably awful. And judging by the look on Tim's face, it's awful.
That should be an even smaller batch that didn't
My-
make it to your fridge.
My brother-in-law loved this beer.
In-law. That'll be
Bob.
Robert.
Yep.
Bob, you're wrong.
Or is it because we just got done drinking this very
I don't
flavorful?
think so. I really don't
No,
think
because
so.
Andy did
This
indicate
is
that it's
so
awful.
flat. Like, there's no taste to this.
Have we had a Surly small batch that we've liked yet, though?
Yes.
Yes.
Kettle sour, mosaic sour.
There's a triple hop one that we
Yep,
like.
the 3DH that Corey
Yes.
found. I'm looking over there. We did.
Whoa.
You guys didn't like the rosé. I did.
That tastes like a bad cough medicine.
I think it's like cotton
Ooh.
candy with like that's what it is. You know how like flavorless cotton candy is?
No.
Well, you eat it and it's just gone. No.
I always get flavored cotton candy.
Yeah, I always
It's pink or
at
blue.
least tastes like sugar.
Right.
Man, this is not good.
Was
Yeah,
this we got
this
so many
is-
other beers? You guys want to dump this?
Let's see if it grows on us. Let's sip on it for 5 minutes and then call it.
So don't rate it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's give it a chance.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, Corey, Megan and I want to go to Funk Junction. Do you want to go?
Oh, I thought you were asking my permission.
No.
Should I go?
She's like, she likes sours. I'm like, well, this is gonna be your deal then, and it's on her birthday weekend. She's like, oh, let's fucking do it. Let's get a big
What
group.
weekend is that?
Don't know.
I think it's like the 27th of April.
Okay. That would make, yeah, that's right before her birthday then. Yep.
Let me check the school event calendar. I mean, that's our biggest thing. Like over the next 4 months is between graduation and everything else. We got a lot of shit. Like Colton does not have a free Saturday again until after graduation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or
So I need to check and see what I just need to make sure that's not like
I understand. Gotcha.
prom or anything.
But
like
have you
that.
done it before?
To Funk Junction?
Yeah.
Last year, this will be the second one.
Okay.
They had it last year. I think it's like $80 per person, but that's all you can drink and eat.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
It's
wanted
not
to go
ideal,
to
but
the
it's
winter
Where's
day.
Funk Junction?
Star Killer.
They do it at Star Keller. It's a
Oh,
sour
okay.
beer deal.
But there's more
Okay.
that there's.
They bring in a bunch of other breweries and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they
have a
play
big
funk
sour
music.
rock.
You and Sarah can come too.
Yeah, no.
Oh well, you better check with Tim. He seems to be
Sure
coordinating.
thing.
My fucking god. I knew I should have done this off air.
This weekend is the winter beer dabbler up at the state fairgrounds.
It's the same thing as like the Mankato beer. Have you noticed that the same company puts
Yeah,
on all
right.
the big ones locally?
But I would have liked to have gone, but I have other things that have going on this weekend I can't make it for. But
I talked beer with a guy today who went to the Mankato one, and he was telling me that he bought the VIP ticket, the expensive one. Whoa. Did you hear that?
I wasn't going to say anything, but
That's what shut up. He was telling me that the expensive ticket got you in the door, glass, a regular walking around glass, a t-shirt, and then they give you this this chip. He said, I don't know if The way he described it, I think it was a tip. It's basically it's good for 12 rounds of drinks at Tab on the Ave.
Yeah.
He's like, so we fucking went to Tab on the Ave afterwards. We just got plowed.
Yeah.
He's like, we ate food and got real drunk. He's like, went to Locale, went to Mankato Brewery. I'm like, did you try Party Forward from Fair State? Yeah, of course. It was great. I'm like, I'm the only freaking person who hasn't had that.
I love that. That's a good beer.
You haven't had it
I
either.
haven't had it.
I had a listener snap me that they were drinking. I'm like, where the hell did you get that? And he's like, Wilmer. I'm like, oh, cool.
I got it.
It's the last one. He went back the next day. Nothing.
I got
Yeah,
it at JL Beers a few weeks ago.
You had it on tap.
Yep. I haven't seen it in stores.
Yeah. It's gonna be gone soon.
We went to 7 West Brewing or whatever.
Oh,
it's
the
called.
tap house, the new one. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be great.
Pass. Skip it.
I'll still probably do it at least once.
So this was our second time there. Their beer selection is okay. Especially for the styles that we enjoy. It's
Sours and hoppy and hazy.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like for what we enjoy, it's just okay.
Okay.
I
I kind of feel like those places are gonna be hit and miss. Like sometimes you're gonna go and it's gonna be filled with mostly InBev, and then just a local brewery.
imagine,
Dragons.
yes.
Thunder. Thunder.
Imagine. I mean, you haven't. I mean, you've been to jail beers.
Yeah.
I don't think Adam has. But imagine jail beers in a much more chain vibe.
And even though, yeah, it is a chain, there's not a lot of them, but
It's like somewhere in between Boulder Tap House and jail beers.
so I've never
Okay.
been to Boulder Tap, and I've never been to Seven.
How have you never been to Boulder Tap?
I always go to Buffalo Wild Wings. There's enough beer there. There's like 20
surprises.
taps there.
That's surprising.
I like going to Boulder Tap.
They're across the street from each other.
Their
and
wings are better.
The wife doesn't like trying new things as far as food goes. Sure, is the same thing at every place, basically.
Yeah, try it. You guys should go there and she could try the wings.
Yeah, I know. I just need to
seriously.
make it.
What do you think? The
Yeah, I
wings are
agree.
better.
Oh, she gets the buffalo mac and cheese.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes she gets wings.
So at 7 West, we've been there twice. Both times the food was subpar. Like burgers are super dry.
But knowing you, that's not what you were there for. You were there for the beer selection.
No,
But
no.
I still want
Corey's a foodie.
I know. I was waiting for someone to say
I
it.
still want to get a good meal. Like
Yeah.
I mean that's the appeal to jail beers is that they have fantastic food and good beer.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, their beer list is. I don't know if their beer list is so much dwindling, but as my like beer
Are you
knowledge,
talking
and-
about GL or Boulder?
Seven West.
well, I was talking about JL Beers has good food and good beer. Boulder has good food,
Yes.
and their beer list is hit or miss depending upon when
Yes.
you go there.
Every time that I'm in the
Agree.
vicinity, I know I could say like I really want to go here, and she would say go ahead.
Yeah.
I usually look at the tap list and what's on tap currently, and it's like nah.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather go to Buffalo Wild Wings and get because they'll for sure at least have Surly on tap at the minimum. But yeah, every time I look at it, it's like it's all InBev like Boulevard Brewing and shit like that.
Here's what I would suggest. So we agreed that me and my wife agreed that we will probably not go back to 7 West. What we would probably do is go to Locale, and you can order food delivered in there from anywhere else around.
Mhm.
So that's probably, if we end up at Mankato, that's probably what we would do before we would go back to 7 West. I mean, I had 3 beers there, and I didn't really see anything else on there that I was like really piqued my interest. Like I have to try this one. Didn't have a lot that I hadn't had before because it's a lot of
The big ones, right? Like Surly
toppling Goliath and stuff like that.
and My Keller, which is
A lot
all
of
sudden
Mankato
everywhere.
stuff.
Yep.
So
It'll probably be one of the places that ends up being the first person to tap Locale beer outside of the tap room at Locale.
it's very possible. So, but I had I don't even remember. I had a cranberry apple sour.
Sounds good.
You're right. Sounded good. So, What were we talking about before I went off on that tangent?
Just jail beers and shit. I don't know. Tap rooms, tap houses.
Yeah.
I tried Westo's 10-foot 10.
And?
It was good, but I'm glad I only got a taster.
Right.
That's so much booze, and I go, this bar I was at this hotel, it was actually a really good bar for a small little hotel bar. 10 taps, and probably only 3 of them were lame. And as far as lame, I mean like Budweiser and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Their fridge was basically every Toppling Goliath mainstay, every Surly mainstay, and a bunch of other random things I'd never heard of. So I went for this guy right away, this sour. Ended up being good. I got a 6-pack to bring back to the room, and then I just didn't drink any of them. And then same with this. That was in my 6-pack. Yeah.
So these you bought at the hotel bar?
Yeah. Yeah. About $60 for 6 of them.
Ooh.
That's a hotel bar.
Oh, sure.
And you got robbed.
Charge it to the room, right?
Yeah, I wish so. Yeah, I don't know. This one, I'm not just convincing myself it was good. I had it there, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like, sure, more of those, please. I had like 3 or 4 while I was there. And then he's like, oh, you like sours? Let me give you a little taster. And he pours one. I'm like, what is this? He's like, just try it. Because I watched him pour it. It wasn't creepy. I drink. I'm like, I've had this. He's like, it's from Surly. It's called their Stardust. I'm like, oh, it's their Brute. He's like, oh, you know about Brutes? I'm like, that's cool that you have it on tap, though.
Right. Exactly.
I've never seen anything like that, like a seasonal beer like that on tap before.
Okay, I think the 5 minutes are up. What do you guys think?
Well, look at my glass. I haven't hardly
Yeah.
touched it.
Yes. Tim's almost gone.
Not drink anything.
Tim the drain.
I already
Pour it down the drain.
ranked it on Untapped.
What do you got?
This is not good.
I gave it a
was gonna go
2.25.
I was gonna go 2. Here's the thing, though.
I'm going 1.5.
Yeah, it's a 2, and I'm still drinking it. 2 doesn't mean it's impossible to stomach.
Right.
It's not your first choice by any stretch, but it's doable. I'd rather have a good beer, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't
cool.
know if how high up on my list this would be.
What you rated on Untappd?
2.25.
Oh, that's what you did? Okay. Sorry, wasn't listening.
I know.
Andy's gonna be thrilled that we finally drank this tonight.
Yeah.
What else we got going on?
Let's drink another beer or do the blind taste test.
All right, you want to pause it and I'll set that up? No, you don't.
You can set it up. We'll talk.
Okay, you guys talk. I'll set up. Yeah.
It's a bitch to pause it. And you
Okay.
got to splice it together with Mac. This way I can just upload right away.
Can we dump this shit out?
Yeah. Okay.
You want yours dumped out?
Yes.
So we got beers being dumped. They didn't ask if they wanted mine dumped out. That's probably because I know I'll just drink it.
Yours is like half inch left.
Go in. Get back here sooner. Let's see. Well, part of me getting out of the 24-hour show was I had to supply each of my 2 cohorts double a deuce 4-pack, so 8 cans. The way Corey describes it, I'm thinking, he's not here to confirm this, I'm guessing he's going to want me to get him some one-man mosh pit from Surly. But maybe not. We'll see. Now, I still need to go to Sioux Falls with Corey and drink not finish.
Okay.
Drink a Bud Light from one of the fancy tap rooms down there. Maybe we can do that at one of the local ones in Mankato, like 7 West, even though he said he wouldn't go back there. Because there's nothing funnier than going through the whole tap list, asking questions, going through the whole thing. Like, oh, now, does this IPA have the blah, blah, blah? What kind of hops did they use? And then say, okay, I'll take a Bud Light, please.
That'd be the waiter being like, what a jerk.
I would overtip. My brother told me one time he was in Vegas and there was like a place there that had like 100 taps of beer. And he goes, 100 taps, huh? Yep. He goes, I'll take a Bud Light. And the bartender goes, it's our most popular option.
Really?
I mean, when you think Vegas, it's not a craft beer destination.
That's true.
Even though there is, I saw Sin City Brewing or something.
Okay.
Oh, it just made me think of that. Sin City sounds like The Simpsons. Mark Maron was on the new episode of The Simpsons. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's pretty good. He interviews Krusty.
Okay.
It's funny.
No spoilers.
I said it's funny.
Okay.
Stop him.
Okay.
I liked it.
All right. Then I'll like it.
Hola mole. We gotta mix one up for you. Again.
I'm good. I mean, I've had them both already.
I'm gonna say this is one man mosh pit. This one is Spirit Foul. Right here. I'm confident. And I like sounding like an asshole if I'm wrong. Bole, bole. Bole, bole. All right.
I will say that I'll let you guys see what you think first.
I'm gonna tap on just a picture of both.
So everybody knows we're doing the blind taste test for these two between One Man Mosh Pit from Surly and the beloved Spirit Fall from Modern Times and Fair State.
The official beer of
The official beer of the
Podcast.
Pilsner Podcast. The only beer that I've ever rated a 6 on our scale of 0 to 5.
So, did you write it anywhere on here? Or you just know?
They're marked, but not in any way that
Gotcha.
like I didn't put FS on one. Or,
So you know.
right. So I put these beers in glasses and we're letting them do a blind taste test because my first reaction was when
Show me.
I drank the One Man Mosh Pit, my first reaction was holy shit, Surly made Spirit Fall.
The noses are different on it.
They're not exactly identical, but I think it's as close as somebody could get. I think it's closer than Mirror Universe to Spirit Fall. Like so this One Man Mosh Pit is a year-round beer from
This
Surly.
is One Man Mosh Pit.
Let me see the bottom. So
Wrong.
I call this one man mosh pit.
You're both wrong.
I think your Spirit Foul is old as dirt. Okay, that's good though. We got it wrong. That's good because it, like
Hey,
you said,
you both got it wrong.
that's good because
Yeah.
you said it's available year round.
This would be this. If I had such a thing as an everyday drinker, this would be it.
You did.
What do you mean?
Citra, extra Citra. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, but I've
Whatever
kind
it
of
took.
evolved on that to where I
Yeah.
just don't have an everyday drinker now because I've got so many.
Mhm.
I think for it to be truly become an everyday drinker for me, they would have to do it in a 12-pack, 12-ounce can.
Like I didn't need beer for tonight, but I went just to see if they had anything new, and they got restocked on Surly, and they got 6-packs in boxes. Have you ever seen a Surly 6-pack box of Sleek?
That's brand new. Yeah.
Right.
They're
I know
starting to do that.
I haven't
know.
seen it, but
I know, that's what I'm saying.
what's your thoughts on the Sleek?
If I remember correctly, I liked it out of the sampler. So that's why I'm like, you know what? It's the first box I'd seen. So I
Yeah.
bought a 6-pack box.
I thought it was okay.
If you don't look at it, that's what the box looks
Wow,
like.
it's a can. It's a box
Shut up.
So this is Spirit Ball?
with the X on the bottom of Spirit Ball.
I thought I had more the back end of it. I thought it was a little more bitter to me.
I kind of want more staycation.
I bet you do. I could probably sell you guys some Spirit Fall if you want some at this point.
This is the Spirit Ball with the X.
Yes.
I don't know if it doesn't taste the same as it did. Like, I don't know if it's a turning or what.
It might be turning. I mean, it's.
I don't want to offend you or anything, but
I mean, it's 10 was brewed at 10/18.
It's 4 months old.
Well, it's not terrible. But
I'd get on that first, though, if I were you. Don't tell you what to do, but mix it up.
Why not?
I
Let me see that can. OMP.
I had I did count my remaining Spirit Falls today.
Yes. How many, Corey?
13.
Oh, jeez.
No.
I was expecting 20 something.
Nope, 13.
Sell you guys some.
I mean, it was 15, but I brought 2 here tonight. So
You like how I played right into that, Tim? I almost had a Spirit Fall to the. When he's like, one man mosh pit, I'm like, oh, well, then you'll sell your Spirit Fall.
Did I don't know. I'd like to find this somewhere. Gotta find another can that is beat up next up to replace this one with.
I got another one up there you can have.
No, once it's.
Um,
we drink it.
When I went to Top 10 Liquors yesterday, they had 15 4-packs of the one man mosh pit.
It'll show up.
But I
I'll
mean,
find
it's
it.
yeah, I thought I should buy that, but then I remembered that it's year round, so I wasn't gonna.
I'm not too worried about it. It'll even be in Springfield at some point.
Yep.
Yes.
The way things are going. I was telling Adam earlier though that it looks like I was like, oh, maybe something new came, and the reps must have stocked him up, with his usual stuff, and then he guesses on Surly. And I'm like, hell yeah! I see a bunch of a ton of Furious outside of the cooler. I walk in, I'm like, I'm gonna see. Oh, more Furious, more Hell. Oh, 6-pack Sleek, cool. Other than that, nothing was different. It was just more of it.
On Sunday I made brats. I used my Furious to boil the brats
I would too.
just because I'm like, that was the closest thing I had to anything that I didn't mind using on that wouldn't like mess up the flavor of the brats.
Okay.
So I didn't have any like Coors or anything like that to use on that.
What could you get away with? Like an organ grinder or a brown ale on brats?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've used those before.
Anything.
I don't.
Just throw it in there.
I
matter.
just wouldn't use
don't
like
beer at all.
I wouldn't use like a milkshake or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, a sugar brat.
But any like just straight IPA or a stout or something or a porter,
Anything.
yeah.
Just dump it in.
I don't know. I don't cook with beer with brats. I just usually I grill them usually.
Well, I
make
boil
my
them
chili
first and
with
then
beer.
finish them on the grill.
Oh.
I make my chili with beer.
Okay,
It's really good.
Yeah, I'd boil them too. Do you boil them? You're supposed to boil them in beer.
that's what I
Why
do.
not?
Oh, that's not like a 50-50 water beer mix.
I do
Uh,
straight beer. I know people that do it in Coke or Pepsi or RC, some sort of cola as well.
Never
Really?
done it.
I
I'll
never thought of
experiment
that.
with it.
I've heard of people doing that.
Standard brats too, right? Like you don't.
Yeah, not hot dogs, not fun dogs.
No. I'm saying you don't fucks with like.
Jalapeno cheddar from Hy-Vee is the only way to go.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, you do. You can mix it up
Yeah.
with the funky brats too.
Yeah. Green onion.
I got it. I got to run the Hy-Vee now.
I like them all. I went to a fancy restaurant on Friday night, and I put my grill away for the winter, and
Applebee's.
I'm not grilling at all. And I'm looking through the menu. I'm like, God, steak sounds good. This pasta sounds good. And I flip to basically the 4 people / kids menu, and I'm like, burger. I'm like, oh, I haven't had a burger in forever, and it's restaurant burger, so it's thick,
Yes.
Like, yep. Close the book. I know what I'm getting.
I'm still even during the wintertime, we'll grill at least once a week.
Right. And we used to, but I'm like, I just want the room in my garage because it's a smaller garage. So I put the grill in the shed because I knew we'd be carrying like a car seat through vehicles and shit.
My grill is outside yet.
Yeah.
I'm using it that often that I just.
I grilled on Christmas Day, and that was the last time I grilled.
Dude, my patio has
Ran out
about
of gas.
probably 3.5 feet of snow on it.
Yes.
Yeah. I shoveled my patio off so I could grill.
I just shoveled to the grill,
Well, yeah, that's what I do. Is
brush off the shit on
Yeah.
Yes.
Good for you guys. Don't care.
Well, we
Winter is for ordering in.
Where do you order in from?
Oh, sometimes I go to McDonald's in Redwood and I bring it home.
Exactly.
What? That's
So-
good too. I had a Shamrock Shake on Sunday.
So the other night when I texted you guys that I was at George's,
Yep.
I was gonna throw in something there just for Tim, and I'll just leave that all alone tonight. I was gonna say, wish I was at Applebee's.
What did you have at George's?
Steak,
Which one?
ribeye.
Yeah. Okay. We went there.
We actually had the special that night was a 2-pound ribeye,
Ooh.
and you could split it, and we did that. Holy crap!
Was that like
Way
the
too much
Valentine's
meat.
weekend special? Must have been.
Was?
Huh?
It was.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
Because you were there just over the weekend, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so
Saturday.
it must have been like some sort of special they had going on for
We don't
Valentine's.
celebrate
Yeah.
Valentine's.
And we don't either.
I'm over steak. I don't know if I've mentioned that before or not.
Yeah, well, you can die.
Why?
Adam and I are going to start a steak podcast.
That's fine. I prefer
We'll
honestly.
grill steak.
It's to the point. Yeah, different cuts.
Yes.
Different cuts of steak.
That'd be
Like,
awesome.
I picked this one up from a steakhouse in New Mexico. I brought my dry ice and my cooler. No, it's
Hey, I've dry iced food across the country before.
so did I. It's to the point where I prefer the fixins over the actual meal of the steak. It's just a big hunk of meat. Like, there's so much more things you can do with your taste buds. Like, I don't know. It's just boring. It's just meat. Who cares? I want sauces. I want spices. I want all that different stuff.
That's your opinion, man.
I know. I just said I'm over steak. I'd rather have, like, if I went to a fancy steakhouse, okay, I'd probably get steak. But I mean, I
I'll
like it.
take this
I
Alan.
like it. I'm just like, I'm to the point where I prefer a good pizza over a good steak.
Oh boy.
Like a high-end pizza? Yeah, for sure.
No.
I would rather cook a steak at home
Yes.
than 90% of restaurants.
It's hard to find a good steak in
Yeah.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Either they don't season it or it's too over seasoned.
Or it's not done right, or it's dry,
For sure.
or whatever. Yeah, a variety of reasons.
Quit ordering it right. How do you order your steak?
It was almost a sentence.
Almost.
How do I order
Quit
my
ordering
steak?
it right. How do you order steak?
It depends on the place. Either
'Cause
rare,
two things popped in my head at the same time.
either
Sorry.
rare or medium rare,
Okay.
depending upon the place.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a place that I've been at enough times that I know that their medium rare is a little overdone for me. If their medium
Yes.
rare is closer to medium, I'm gonna order it rare there.
Okay. Got it. Here, I thought you were going to say, I order my steaks well done, and I complain that they're dry.
Do I look like a communist?
That's why I'm like, whoa.
I remember years ago I was in a wedding.
I love mine with lots of red in it.
Yeah, I don't want
Borderline purple.
it cold, but I want it red. But years ago I was at a wedding.
Was it yours?
No. and then we were at the group supper at a steak place. And
was it your parents' backyard like it was mine?
no, and like half of the guys ordered their steaks well done,
Ugh.
and then wanted ketchup when the steak came.
Oh, gross.
And it's just like,
I say medium.
why would you ruin a good piece of meat? Like, I mean, I don't even
Ketchup? No.
Why?
I
Why?
do.
No.
I do
Don't
Heinz
say it.
57 occasionally.
No.
That's
Good
it.
steak, you don't need anything.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. The only time I'll ask for steak sauce is
When
if
it's shitty.
if the steak is not good.
I like when I was at the farmhouse. I had the first time I went there. I didn't have any sauce. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I ordered a medium and all that stuff and whatever. I wanted a steak that night, and now if I go back there, I'm gonna be like, "What do you got for pasta or something like that?
So, yeah, their pasta is good.
Or fish or something. I'll get seafood or something."
The rack of lamb over there is good.
I think seafood's better than beef for the novelty.
Get the fuck out of
For
here.
the novelty of it, like for the fanciness of it, like I would take shrimp over steak,
Oh,
but I would much rather have a hamburger,
Shut up. Get
a
out.
hamburger than a fillet of fish. Obviously.
The proper way to do it is to do the surf and turf.
Oh, yeah, you could you
get a
should do that.
steak with
Welcome back, Tim.
some
Get back in here, Tim.
It's cold out there.
with some grilled shrimp or even lobster on the side.
I wouldn't mind. You know what? Don't do steak on mine. Do beef tips.
I
They're two
Maybe.
different tastes. I don't know what do you think? I think there's two different tastes.
I think
on
it's two
that.
different tastes. If
Your
I
favorite kind of steak? What is it? Both of you.
Favorite cut?
Yeah. What's your favorite type of steak? Like, do you like ribeye, sirloin, Salisbury?
Oh, I like the porterhouse. That's
Okay.
my favorite.
Corey.
ribeye,
Okay. See, I think
cowboy cut is the best, but
I had ribeye for the first time probably last year. Wasn't a fan of it because it was so fatty.
Yep.
that's I
But
know
that's
some
where all
people
the
that,
taste
that
is.
don't like the ribeye because they say it's too fatty. I also don't. I also my second choice would be the New York strip.
Okay.
Tommy's made a pretty good. The one time I had steak at Tommy's,
I'll usually skip a
The New York
sirloin
strip,
if
I
I
like
see it on a menu, and I never buy sirloins at home.
I go sirloins
Okay.
for at home just for grilling at home, because they're fucking cheap and you can make a big old thing of meat on the grill.
Yeah.
It's not a hamburger. It's one of the few things I can grill, and I'm not nervous if I screw it up because I didn't spend a ton of money on it.
Right.
But filet mignon, dude, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
The only problem is that it's not big enough.
Good. Well, get a porterhouse and you get the New York strip and the filet all in one.
You guys are gonna like this. This just popped into my head. Okay. Back when we didn't own this house and we were renting it, we didn't.
Wait, you rented this first?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
It's ours now. We didn't have a dishwasher, and it was just me and Megan, no dog, no nothing, and we would just let the dishes pile up, and then I would just say, fuck it, I would do the dishes on my lunch break so that I could come home and not have to do dishes. And one day on my lunch break, I told Megan, I will get us steaks and grill them from the grocery store tonight if you do the dishes. She goes, okay. So I went to the grocery store and I bought the cheapest butt steak you could find. It was like $2.
And you got it from the grocery store.
And I got myself a nice sirloin.
Oh!
And I sat out there with the grill super low, and I had a 6-pack of Mick Ultra. I drank all 6 beers while she was in there busting ass cleaning the kitchen. And then I come back in, all the work's done. I'm out like $8.
What a dick move.
That's pretty good.
That is funny as shit.
I later told her, and she's like, I don't care. And she's like, I like it. It's good. I'm like, I'll make better stuff next time. But that's what I did. And she's like, what are we going to make me mad for doing the dishes
The
that
only
one time? Like, who
the only
cares?
grocery store that I will buy mean, I have bought steaks from like Jim's Market. You know, it's like, well,
They're not.
you know, I'd prefer not to. But otherwise, normally the only grocery store that I'd like to buy steaks from is Hy-Vee. Actually, usually has a pretty good meat department where you can get some good steaks from. Otherwise, I like to go to an actual meat locker.
And actually, yes, I always like to support my local butcher. But otherwise, yeah, Springfield Market, they do have good steak.
I think they do.
I just like
even as
support
far
your
as,
local butcher.
Yeah, even as far as like now, I've been messing with their other stuff, and it's like, I don't know, like the whole roasts, the ones you put in a crock pot that take the whole Saturday to make. Those are good.
And they smell the whole house up. It's really smelly.
Yep.
Yeah.
My preference, if I'm actually going out to like a George's or something, rather than order the steak, I'll actually get the prime rib because that's something I'm not gonna make at home.
Okay.
Whereas I feel like a steak, I can make a good steak at home. The only time we make prime rib at home is usually on Christmas.
Okay.
We'll do a prime rib.
I wouldn't trust myself to make that.
It's easier than you thought. I was nervous the first time I did it, but typically all I do is set the oven to 500 degrees. You let the rib roast sit out on the counter to get to room temperature. Slather that thing up with some butter and seasonings of your choice. And then you throw it in the oven for like, I'd have to double check, but I think it's like 7 minutes per pound. And then once that timer is up, you shut the oven off. Don't open the door and just let it sit in the oven for like 2 more hours. And take it out. It'll be perfect.
Really? Huh.
We've done that we've done it every Christmas for like the last 4 or 5 years. And I've done it one or two other times, not Christmas at home, but
I want
always
that
turns out.
where I want to do that. Like when my kid, probably kids in the future, get older and we can decide like we're gonna buck tradition and just do Christmas at our house. It'll never happen, but I want it to, and where I can just say I'm doing something I want to do.
If your family's like my family, I'm 42. I finally got to do that.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah.
And I grilled steak, and then we're talking next year. I had the idea of sauerkraut.
I want to import like.
You guys like sauerkraut?
No.
No,
but people do like it.
I mean, people do like it, but I don't care
love
for it.
Megan loves it. You know,
okay.
Yeah, she likes it during her. I think her church has a sauerkraut thing, and she gets me a meal, and I basically eat the one sausage leg, which is a brat, and give the rest of the thing to her, and she'll eat it the next day.
Oh yeah, warmed up sauerkraut.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she eats. I don't know. I don't watch her.
So my parents are divorced and my wife's parents are divorced. So like for us for Christmas, it was always like a lot of places to go. And like 5 years ago, everyone got a little more reasonable and more things worked out a little bit, and we were able to start doing okay on Christmas Day. We do our thing at home with just our family. We don't have to chase anywhere. And that's when we started doing the prime rib, shrimp, and all the fixings, mashed potatoes.
You cook your shrimp or the raw shrimp, or the?
I like it both
cold
ways.
shrimp, what do you call that?
Shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
I like it both ways, but normally, like on Christmas when we do it like that,
He likes it. So
I was actually gonna let it go. I kept saying it too. You said it like 3 times.
I like my shrimp both hot and cold. But
I go
normally on
cold.
Christmas when we do it,
Preference.
I'll either skewer it and grill it or just throw it in a baking sheet with some butter and some lemon juice and some garlic and throw it in the oven for just like a couple minutes shrimp don't take long because otherwise it gets rubbery if you overcook it. But
We do Saturday Night Live Christmas as our Christmas. We even have give each other our presents that night.
during commercials of
No,
SNL?
just leading up to it, and we cook a bunch of food and like that. Because like Christmas Eve is such a blur usually because you have to work, and then you gotta hurry up, and now we gotta pick up a kid and get everything out. Her parents live on a farm that's a couple miles from town. You gotta rush things out there to like turn ovens or crock pots on or whatever. Then you gotta come back into town. They go to church. I hang with Rory for a bit. Then, then we gotta go out there.
You should go to church, Tim.
Oh, boy. No wait.
Sorry, I was responding, reading a text from my wife.
I have some distractions too.
I'll share it off air. It's kind of an interesting story.
Did you guys?
Mine's not interesting.
So, we shouldn't even hide from the fact that we all got this idea to do this show because of the power trip.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we could do that, and it's become our own thing, and it's fun. Did you read that City Pages article on the Fan?
I did.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yep.
I enjoyed that a lot. It sounds like sports stations everywhere else in every other market are terrible. The way that they make them sound.
Really?
So
We're in a prime spot.
It sounds like it.
I
but
would
what I'm
say-
saying is that it's pretty easy to say, like, oh, all these other markets, they suck. It's like, well, it doesn't sound like any of you worked at like the Chicago market or anything. You're just assuming.
So I can
Right.
say that during my, it's been a year since I've had any extensive travels, but when I was traveling for work, I would tune into like sports stations from wherever I was at.
Yep.
And they do really all sound the same.
Yeah.
And by the
Sports.
same, I mean they don't sound like the Power Trip. They might have a local guy that tunes in and gives some local high school or college scores, but otherwise they're all streaming the same national shit from like ESPN
Colin
or
Cowherd or whatever.
right,
Got it.
right. You know, with like I said, with a dash of somebody coming in and covering some local high school or college stuff. But
Do you guys listen to the Score?
6 something.
It's the new name to the.
it was the ESPN
Oh,
1500.
no.
Yeah, it was 1500. Yeah.
I don't. I just Royce
Score
and them.
North
I
or
was
whatever.
never been a fan of.
I thought you
I'm listening to
I do
weird name. Starts with a Judd.
Mackey and Judd.
Yeah.
I do like Phil Mackey. He used to be a K fan.
Yeah.
A little bit, and I do like him. I follow him on Twitter and stuff. But
I started listening to the Fan like 3 days before Jeff Toupee just mysteriously disappeared from the airwaves.
I remember the PA and Dubé show, and I'm like, God, what a great pair.
Uh-huh.
And then he just
yes, he can call him meth. I mean, and that's just it. I mean, to me, the key.
Okay.
No, he's meth.
Later, I think.
Maybe
cocaine
that was
the
later. I think
initial
Coke
thing.
was originally maybe, but I mean that's the thing for me is it's not a habit. I mean I've been listening to K Fan since it was the 1500 or the
11:30.
11:30
Yes,
on the AM, and
It was the only
It
station
did- it
that our
didn't
truck
come in
got as well as 1490.
Oh, yes.
I'm not listening to Farm Reports.
it
KLG.
didn't come in until 7:00 in the morning,
Yeah.
and then went out at 5 because there's some federal regulation that AM dials had to turn their signals down at dark. So they would turn it up at 7 a.m. It would get strong enough that you could pick it up. And
Really?
at 5 p.m.
I didn't
they
know
would have
that.
to turn it down, and then you couldn't pick it up anymore.
And they were smart enough to realize that their shows were good enough to where if they just released a free podcast, it would start building an audience. And all of a sudden, there's affiliates that are swarming in. Like, can we buy, the right to broadcast your station? That's how, like, locally now Marshall has a fan affiliate.
Worthington
Right.
has a fan affiliate.
Right.
Really?
It's like,
Really?
if it wasn't for podcasting, which nobody else does that,
Right.
it's like your show
Yes.
is good enough. Like I don't think I've ever heard the show live on the radio. I mean, obviously before Marshall and Worthington, but I never heard it live. I just found it through Twitter, and then I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And all of a sudden, I became hooked. For years, I listened to it via podcast only,
Mhm.
like the whole thing.
I remember listening
The whole
to it,
slate of
streaming it on my BlackBerry
Oh,
back in the day.
BlackBerry.
But I mean, before that, I was listening to it on AM, and like I said, during the restricted hours.
When they switched to FM is when we lost it down here.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
the 11:30 did come in down here.
Yep, exactly.
But
And that's when
you could stream it on the net.
Yep.
So,
That's when I started streaming it. Was when they switched to. That might have been when I started streaming it on my BlackBerry.
100.3, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't long after Jeff Dubay went away that superstar Mike Morris went away too.
Yes.
I'm
Not right away.
No, it was about a couple of years later.
2012,
I think
maybe.
2012. It was my final year of college, and I remember hearing that, and it was like a couple months after he ate like a giant Snickers bar, like some 3-pound
Oh,
loaf or
the big
something.
dog.
He used to just make him eat shit, or he would do it.
Yeah.
How,
Like when they made him wear a diaper for an entire show, and he never went to the bathroom during the show, and they went off the air, and he did it just to do it after they were off, like after the bit was over.
Where is he now?
He is on another.
wasn't he on 1500?
No, he's on another. Maybe he's on 1500.
Is he on Score?
He's on another like talk radio station up in the metro area,
Okay.
smaller, an AM one.
Mhm.
You know why he got fired?
No.
Because him and Cove didn't get along.
I know they didn't get along, but I thought that he was more crucial to the show. He created the show.
Right.
He was one of the original guys. I thought that. I mean, I've heard the YouTube clips. If you type it in, just type in Mike Morris talking about Corey Cove, and you can hear him say some mean things on one of his next radio show.
Yeah.
He says like
Really?
douchebag word and everything.
Damn.
I know. I'm like, I wonder why they couldn't make that work.
Right.
I would rather have a foursome with Sauce. Yeah. You get what I'm saying.
We will.
On the show though, that would be really good. I think the dynamic could have been pretty cool if they.
I think
got
the
along.
dynamic now on that show is
It sucks when one's not there.
right. Exactly.
It's so weird when you think you have your favorite, and you're like, I like that guy the best.
So who is your favorite?
Don't have one. I figured that out. I'm like,
Who do you closest connect to?
probably Corey Cove.
Yeah, I
Probably.
agree.
Sauce.
Yeah. I don't know.
I agree with Corey Cove. I'm probably
The cynicism part.
85
I
to
like
90% of his views.
Yeah. I'm probably there on more than that.
Probably because the only thing I don't agree with him on is the atheism and baseball.
Oh, see, I agree with him on both.
Right. I know you.
I do. Yeah, definitely furthest away from. I could see Hawk. They're gonna have to do the show without him at some point. He's the next to go. Not for a long time, but he'll retire before them. Just age difference, but at the same time,
Yeah, I don't know though, because I mean he's
you're right. Mark Rosen's old as dirt.
right, and
He can't be a country star without the show. The
Right.
show is, yeah. I don't like his music.
well, it's just not my
It's not my thing.
right.
Yeah.
I did download his album.
Yeah, I gave him the numbers too. The Apple Music.
Yeah, just because I'm support him, but
I checked it out, listened to it once, and deleted it.
yeah,
Give it another try. But I'm not one of those people that normally I don't want to be like, hey, I don't like you on
right.
Twitter.
We went to the group chat party a few years ago.
I know you did.
That's right. We saw you that next day at a wedding.
Looked like you had a great time. You had a Meat Sauce and the Whalers shirt on.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
it was your Facebook picture for a while.
It was.
I remember.
Yep.
I have the dumbest memory.
That was when Meat Sauce had the bad teeth.
Yeah, I have the worst memory. I remember things like that,
So
but like important dates, nothing.
we were talking about, or so I got. Let's talk about my Totes Wonderful Twitter account.
Okay.
And if you remember, I posted a picture of
Yeah.
somebody, and
It
then
was zoomed in. It was grainy.
kind of got heat about it.
I don't know the heat part.
Okay, so that person is he's an educator
Okay.
at our local school.
Yeah. What are we drinking next?
Anything but staycation.
Let's do the sour. Got the bottle open.
And so I found that picture because I was strolling through Facebook and he was in he was in the background of somebody else's like legitimate photo that they took.
I want to save the bottle cap. Those things all been in the bottle caps. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
And so, knowing that he was a listener, I zoomed in, cropped him out, and then posted it to the Toad's Wonderful account, knowing that there was only like 5 or 6 people that followed it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he didn't get the bit. Like, he thought that it was somebody, like, because he is a teacher, like somebody trying to make him look bad. Like, he didn't realize that it was a picture that was found online. He thought that it was a picture that I took of him out somewhere. And then it was more like, hey, everybody, look at this teacher getting hammered.
Oh no.
Right.
Which is that's kind of understandable.
Right. And
Those people are probably always in the age of social media.
Right.
Teachers,
So
I feel bad for them.
So he messaged me on Snapchat, and I'm like, my bad, I'll take it down. Like I told him, like, I should use better judgment. You know, you being a teacher, right? The last thing I want is for people to see that.
To be honest, I saw it.
Okay,
I didn't know what it was.
Let's. I just want to chime in on this. Teachers are human beings.
Oh,
Teachers have every right to go out and have fun too.
I
And no one
agree.
should be judging them.
Right.
You know, so
But it's probably
and,
not.
and it's
probably not
crappy
people.
that it comes down to this.
Probably
Right.
not people. It's probably like he could get in trouble, like with the school board or something like
Yeah, but
that.
why?
And
Right. I know.
Right, and I don't think it was more that. I think it was more of a he thought that I was out to
Troll him.
troll him about it, and I'm like, no, it was supposed to be fun, you know, because I saw the picture of you. I know you're a listener, you know. Sorry, and he was like cool about it, but he did tell me that his significant other Twitter reported it, and then And then the part that I told him I was going to call him out, I told him that we'd be discussing it on the show because we were like having a good laugh about it after we kind of cleared the air that no, it was supposed to be in fun because I knew that he was a listener sort of thing. He had to end the conversation because his girlfriend was mad at him because he wasn't paying attention to The Bachelor. So let's all point and laugh at him right now for.
Corey, I'm not going to do that. Andy likes The Bachelor.
And well,
Everybody likes the. I'm just kidding. The Bachelor's dumb.
I hate The Bachelor. I hate all those kind of shows.
I shouldn't say that though. I'm not like above it. I watch The Challenge religiously.
I watch pro wrestling.
I watched
We watched-
Ring of Honor.
I watched Celebrity Big Brother this season.
Ring of Honor is fantastic.
Okay. Remember talking about this? I'm like, God, I wish Corey was here. What is that affiliated with WWE?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
They are just another independently owned. I would say so. WWE is far and away like the #1 organization in the world. Nobody will ever touch them.
We all know that.
It could be argued that New Japan is probably number 2.
Okay.
And then number 3 would probably be Ring of Honor and or Impact Wrestling.
Where's next?
NXT, they're owned by WWE.
Oh,
D-League. Development League.
Yeah, they're actually trying to make that so right now WWE is operating Raw and SmackDown as 2 separate brands. You know, there's a little bit of crossover between the two, but very little. And they're legitimately trying to make NXT not so much as a minor league, but just as a third brand equal to the other 2.
got it.
But yeah, but
Okay.
it's still NXT is still owned. The only place you can watch it is on the network. They don't even until the
Okay.
Fox thing. There's rumors that when the Fox thing goes into effect, that NXT will be on one like on Fox Sports or something like
I
that.
can catch up on
You sound way better when
NXT.
you did that.
I can get caught up on NXT on Hulu.
Really? It's on
Yes.
Hulu? I suppose because they have the Universal deal with means they're on the USA Network.
Okay.
But yeah, so Ring of Honor would probably be the biggest of the quote unquote independent leagues or independent federations.
Okay.
But they're on their way down now with the new with AEW coming along.
What?
AEW is a new federation.
Sounds like a porn genre.
Is a new wrestling company that
Asian Ewok
Ass.
women.
yes, something like that.
Wasn't they just switched AAW?
AEW is
Did this start off as AWA wrestling?
AWA has been defunct for about 25 years and is actually owned by the WWE now.
Right.
You moron.
I knew that.
Just kidding.
I mean,
Is it AAW?
that's what happened is that
And it's my initials.
when Vince decided that he wanted to go nationwide, he just started buying everybody up. And so, I mean,
Mean Gene came from AWA.
AWA. Kurt Hennig did. Hulk Hogan did.
We saw the Ric Flair bit, the 30 for 30.
Yep.
It showed that you would go and wrestle and like
The Claw.
there was like a different sanction every single week. There was a million different brands. That was before they like, hey, wait a minute, let's
Right.
One guy was smart. One head cheese was like, let's do this.
You brought up NXT, and there's a guy in NXT that just last night made his debut on like the quote unquote main roster, but he was actually trained by Killer Kowalski, who was around back in the day
Yeah. Okay,
And-
that sounds familiar.
and trained him. But he's actually one of my favorite guys right now, just because he's
Okay.
Like I said, wrestling now is so different than when we watched it when we were kids, because now like
I try to get into it because I started watching Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, this isn't okay. And I watched the match, and then all of a sudden I was flipping back and forth. And
it's when I watch it now, I mean, Colton and I will sit here and have these discussions like, who are they going to have win this match and why? What is it doing to develop this character, as opposed to cheering for the actual guy? You're waiting to see how the company is developing that character and what they're having them do. So, pound for pound, if somebody wanted to truly enjoy wrestling that hasn't been a fan, I would say watch NXT. They're probably the best wrestling product out there right now,
okay.
until AEW comes along.
Okay.
BBW.
AAW is gonna rock.
AEW,
Oh,
AAF.
AEW.
yes.
Is a football organization.
Yes, it
Have
is.
you guys watched any Alliance football?
None.
Just highlights.
Really?
But I saw that Charles Johnson, former Viking, is the leading receiver in the league.
Oh, dude,
Good
it's,
for him.
that whole league is full of former Vikings and former golfers. It's a
Matt Asiata.
Matt Asiata. They're like, Matt Asiata scores a touchdown, and then that was on like the fan Twitter page. So I look a little bit deeper. I read his stats for that game: 4 yards, 4 receptions, 1 touchdown.
Just like when he was with the Vikings.
It's I like the league. I just hate that it's like all the former pros are from Minnesota. It's like, God, quit rubbing that in.
Did you see the over the shoulder pass that Philip Nelson had?
Yeah.
Yep.
Philip Nelson, Isaac Kolstad beater. Yeah.
Yep.
How about
I hate that he's getting good pub.
Right.
He's not a good guy.
No.
right?
I mean, you make mistakes. I get that. And you know what? Isaac Kolstad, if you look at the security footage, I'm pretty sure, because I just re-looked this up, I want to say that I'm pretty sure he threw the first punch.
He did.
It was like a bar fight between 2 young kids. At the same time, though, the dude got. I just don't like Philip Nelson.
Yeah.
If you make a person give him
When
brain
someone's
damage,
lying on the ground, you don't kick him in the head.
right?
No, isn't that
That was
right?
Philip Nelson, right? That wasn't that other kid that ran up. That's what I'm wondering, because I don't.
Shit?
Right.
That's been a while.
There was a kid from St. Peter
Yes.
came up and ran up and did. Yeah. Anyways, Philip Nelson, bad guy.
Right.
I don't want to see him succeed, but this league though is interesting because, so the first week was on CBS proper.
Yep.
And it was very easy for me to watch. The second week, I'm like, hey, there's a game on right now, and they're smart because there's only 8 teams, so they put 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday, so you can watch literally all of it. I'm like, how do I watch this game that's currently on CBS Sports? Okay, well, I would have to upgrade my cable package, another $25 a month to get it. Nope. Okay, when's the next game on? NFL Network. Okay, I have that channel, but I'm asleep.
And that's where they lose the crowd. That's where they lose all their viewers.
Well, they don't have a TV deal.
Yes, but that's how NASCAR lost their shit. When you go from networks to cable,
They didn't have a choice.
you lose their viewers. Same with this. It was on network,
Right.
goes to the cable.
That's
version.
Captain Obvious speak right there. Everybody gets those channels. That's obvious.
Right.
But not everybody. Your product needs to be king shit to get on that channel. You need a TV deal. Like in
Was the NFL? I mean, always this. I mean,
what?
they were always on the networks, right?
Back then there was only 3 networks.
I mean, I remember when it was a big deal that Fox got the NFL got the
Mhm.
NFL
Yes.
back when we were kids because in
Right. Fox
Sanborn,
was a very new channel at the time.
in Sanborn, we did not have Fox as part of our cable package, and they only added it because when Fox signed the NFL deal,
When
it
they
was
became an official network.
well, it was they did it because people
weren't
were
like
pissed because they
UPN
weren't going to be able to
network?
watch the Vikings games.
Yeah.
So like, oh shit, we better add this. You know, that was what was New Telecom before it was New Telecom. New Ulm Telecom or New Ulm Telephone Company or something like that.
Western.
Maybe that's what it was at the time. Western.
Did they always
have
have
no idea.
cable? I thought that they launched the cable version when I was in like 7th grade.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they were just a telephone company until Tim said,
We got our cable through them when we lived in Sanborn when I was a kid.
Okay.
And that would have been way before you were in 7th grade.
Maybe it was just digital cable.
That's probably what it was. It was analog with the old wire coming in the house and plug it into a box that sat on top of the
That
TV.
you could throw a magnet under to scramble like Spice Channel or HBO.
"I wish I would have known that."
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, I googled like all the things you could do with your cable box, and what I didn't know was that we have a digital cable box, and I was googling tricks that you
For an
needed.
analog.
So I got a big magnet and I stuck it under because it was supposed to unlock all these channels, and I'm like, nothing.
Yeah, it didn't work, did it?
No. No, but I had a good time watching the Alliance games. You could tell it was like kind of like watching preseason football.
Right.
It was a lot of very untalented players, and the fact that week 2 was on NFL Network and TNT, NFL Network, so they're acknowledging that it exists, which is
Yeah.
like, okay, so maybe they're halfway interested in it because they're hooking them up with TV spots.
Was that you that threw out the suggestion about? Was that a text from you about they should have the?
Corey, you texted us this, and I love it.
Where did I get it from though?
You screenshotted Twitter, or somebody
Was it from
sent you a
Twitter?
screenshot.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was trying to figure out where it came from.
Go ahead and say this. I
But
love it.
Where the bottom was it the bottom?
No, okay, so I
The
love
bottom
this so much.
NFL team.
No, so what it is take the XFL next year,
Yes.
the league champ, and the league champ of the AAF, make them battle it out for one, and then the winner of that game gets to play the lowest, like the worst record
Like the
NFL team.
Bills. Yeah.
And then if that team from the XFL or the AAF wins, they get to be in the NFL, and the NFL team that just lost has to get
drop down, and
demoted.
you do that every year.
Oh
Right.
my god, that would be so amazing. And I've heard somebody, I said that this weekend, and somebody was like, well, they actually do something similar to that in soccer.
What do they do?
I didn't know that
Okay.
at all. And somebody brought that up. I'm like, that is crazy. Because I'm just kind of like, I was joking when I said it, like I was laughing about it, and the person was like dead serious. They're like, oh, that's the thing. That
Yeah.
happens. I'm like, yeah, it'll never happen in the NFL though. So I just think it's funny and it's fun, and like that would be so cool. And they're like, no, but that and soccer. I'm like, I get it. Just laugh.
Soccer's not a real sport. Who cares?
God gave you arms. Catch the damn ball.
Right. So, have you guys heard? I've had. Can't talk. You've heard
that
The Minnesota United have a new stadium,
Saw a picture of it this weekend. Looks
and
dope.
how do you say the name of it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's ALLIANZ.
Alliance?
That's what I thought, but it's actually like a long A, so it's Aliens Field.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know
Why
if
not?
that's correct, but that's the way I heard it pronounced on like a radio ad today. So
Oh, okay, cool.
Allianz Field is how it's pronounced. I always thought it was Alliance.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
We read it quickly in a Twitter ad that was
Yep.
promoted towards us. We keep scrolling,
Yeah.
We don't actually participate in consuming any media. Outside.
Actually, I didn't know I didn't see it on Twitter at first. I drove by it and saw like the signage on it. I'm like, the hell is this place? And I'm like, Googled it later. I'm like, oh, that's where the United is
The
playing.
reason that
I'll
you-
never be in there.
Yeah, the reason you haven't heard about it is because it's privately funded. It's not a taxpayer thing.
Right,
So there was no arguments.
right.
Well, that's private.
Mostly.
Wow.
The state paid for a little bit of infrastructure as far as like a few ramps.
The roads, yeah, they have to.
That's it.
They have to.
And I think the owners and I want to say part of the league helped them out.
How big
Yeah,
of a stadium is it?
couldn't tell you.
Okay.
No idea.
If it's a soccer stadium, what, 20,000, maybe 30?
I doubt it.
Yeah, whatever.
15.
Well, Blaine was, I think, 10. That's where they were playing.
I'll Google it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so let's talk about Corey right now.
Yes.
His Googling skills, shit. He didn't grow
Yeah.
up with Google like kids did,
Right.
so he's translating it. I don't know what that means. I just said he's translating it. I said the wrong thing there.
And Tim, I'm older than Corey.
I know, but I'm pretending I'm doing a bit here. So my dog is weird, and she just like lays on the floor and looks at me. She hasn't really stopped looking at me in a while. And I'm kind of like, oh, what's up?
19,400.
Okay, and you know what I'm picturing when they're doing this stadium is what band gets to play there now, because it's not an arena, it's not a stadium. It's like, cool, we get like a new venue for music that's like for
yeah.
mid-level bands.
I
Like
w-
the Shins could play this place,
Yes.
you know, or a festival could be born there.
What about the Twin Cities Music Festival? That's
Yeah. The announcement is coming up Thursday.
but they haven't announced where yet. What if that's?
What's at Mystic Lake or Canterbury? I can't remember. It
Well,
was
they-
originally going to be at Canterbury.
Well, they did announce a venue.
Which
I had
which
not heard of
festival
venue.
was this?
It's a new one, the Twin Cities Summer Jam.
A new one.
When it
Pop
happened,
country rock.
when
all
it
three genres.
dude, when it happened, I don't think I'm gonna like the lineup, but I've been watching and waiting for over a year when they originally did it, and then they decided, like, hang on, let's pump the brakes. They pulled back. Tim McGraw is the first announced person, and now they're acting like, well, just kidding. I'm like, no, I know one of the 12 acts is gonna be Tim McGraw, and that's completely erased. So I'm like,
Fayetteville.
I doubt I'm gonna like any of this stuff, but let's see. Like, what's gonna be the pop if you have Tim McGraw, the Go-Go's?
What makes me tentative about this is that if they did it like some festivals where it was, day A was pop, day 2 was country,
Mhm.
and day 3 was rock,
I'm a little bit
Kind of like Ribfest.
and split it up. But they've
Yeah.
flat out said that it's going to be intermixed. Like you're going to have fucking Imagine Dragons opening for Florida Georgia Line,
Thunder.
and I'm just
Thunder.
they haven't announced
I
any
have to
bands.
listen to the last episode where I make him read the lyrics to that song, and he reads it in slow, like he doesn't sing it. Oh my god, it's the funniest thing ever. And if you guys haven't heard, go back and listen to 76. Nobody listened to it because we posted the 24-hour show at the same time. So nobody listened to the actual show from that week. It was really good if you haven't heard it yet. Adam reads lyrics to Lightning and Thunder by Imagine Dragons.
So
You say thunder? Thunder.
Like
Thunder.
thousands of times.
Thunder.
the last time I was on this show was when you recorded the 24-hour show.
Okay.
What ended up being a
Fuck.
12-hour show.
It's like a month ago. Oh, well, and then we took last week off because of lots of different reasons.
Yep. Tim's syphilis flared up. But we had a conversation on there about how
Rub some dirt on
It's
it.
the gift that keeps on giving.
I am a fan of cover
Just wash
music
it off.
and cover
Just wash
bands.
it off.
Mm-hmm.
And I have since found another entire album of cover music that I have become infatuated with. So much to the point where I want to start a game in the coming weeks where I'm going to play a cover song, and then you two will have to try and guess like what the original is.
All right. Yes, let's do that.
But this
And
last
whoever loses got to suck someone off.
out.
Come here, big boy. I just farted if that wasn't on mic.
Yeah, it was.
That's. I didn't want to just be like, come here, big boy.
The latest
Oh yeah.
with me.
smells, Tim.
I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
I don't smell it, so
Sorry.
So I found this one, and I had to play this one for my wife.
Hang on. Don't play anything. I'm trying to do no music tonight. One. I'm just curious, because we get busted on every single YouTube video.
Oh yeah, that's right. How about Twitch? Does that do the same thing?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Just tell me what it is.
Well, that ruins it because I found one, and I think that the new version that I found is better than the original. And the song would have. This was a huge hit in the '90s.
All right, fuck it.
And
We're not
it
talking about
would have
making
been
money.
better suited. They redid it as a country song of sorts. It's like a bluegrass song,
Plug it in. Let's hear it.
and it's better. My wife agreed with me that it is a better version as a bluegrass country song.
Just turn it down a little bit. There you go.
Than the original. Tell me when you recognize this song. Tim will recognize it right away.
Originally,
No.
it was a country song.
If we
I
could
could
just
show it.
crash here.
It was originally a rock
Jim
song.
Blossoms.
Yeah, Chin Blossoms. Yeah. Can we get in trouble with the cover song though?
No, you can't get in trouble with anything. It's just
No, I mean
we lose the
like-
chance of monetizing these videos.
yes. Yeah.
That's all it is. It's because now these guys will own the video that we just put out. Know what I mean? No, I don't. I'm sorry.
But you don't think this works tremendously
It's
as a
great.
country song?
It's great.
It's good.
It's great, but
It's good.
I wouldn't even say country. This is more like Americana.
Like a bluegrass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like original.
Yeah. Overall, I like the original better.
Like this was.
and I'm not against covers. Just
You're fine. I'm listening.
oh, I thought you were like about to play something else. No, I'm not like just shutting it down.
Same.
Or sometimes you hear like that. No, original. Like yeah, sometimes like the almost covered Tom Petty, and it's better than Tom Petty. Free Fallin'.
I agree. I like country or I like cover songs when they do a dramatic change of the original. Like the downfall to the Weezer Teal album is that most of the songs sound exactly like the original. They didn't do anything different with them.
Right.
I'm gonna play one more off this one, just because I want to get your opinion. Because this one I also couldn't believe how well it turned out as a country song.
Holy shit,
All
Blind
I
Melon.
can do is yeah.
I love Blind Melon.
Couldn't believe it.
You're not. This isn't gonna top.
No, it's not better, but I couldn't believe how well it worked.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll say this. Blind Melon, the vocals are. I could take them or leave them.
I just.
Oh yeah, the original vocals are better.
Yeah. But I was surprised at how well it worked.
Have you guys seen the trailer for the movie Yesterday?
No, sorry.
Have you?
I have.
So the concept is, basically a guy gets knocked out or something, and he wakes up, and there was like an electroshock across the world, and nobody remembers the Beatles except for him. So he just
Wait.
records Beatles songs.
Yes.
Yeah, and he becomes super duper famous in today's world.
So I originally
Yes.
heard about this like
That's
a year
movie
ago that it
that's
was,
coming out,
that it
or
was
like
being-
a,
Yeah, the
worked
trailer's
on.
out. The trailer's
Okay,
out.
okay,
You can go
yes, I
check it
did
out.
see this.
and I thought this sounds stupid. But now that I've seen the trailer, I'm not sure how 100% sold I am on the story because it's kind of like,
I'm in. I'm all in. It looks great. I'll probably.
I'm gonna love the
actually leave my house to
soundtrack,
go
so
see
I'm
it.
probably gonna watch it for that reason only.
That's
But
I like music movies, even if it's,
I'm gonna be interested in the moral dilemma that the guy is undertaking.
It'll be a stupid girl thing. You
Right.
know, that's gonna
Yeah.
take me out of it.
Yeah.
That's gonna take me out of it. It's gonna be like a girl is gonna realize it, and then I don't know. It's gonna be something. A romantic thing is gonna bum me out about it. Take me out of it. Sorry.
But it still does seem interesting.
Yeah, the trailer was really good.
Do you get access The channel, AXS.
Maybe. I don't really watch TV live
That's true, you don't.
ever.
And you don't either. So they actually have a show that's on called Nothing But Trailers.
Oh yeah.
And it's fantastic. Like I can sit and watch that, all day, just watching trailers for movies that are coming out. And
I watched half of a Newfound Glory concert that was originally broadcasted on HD Net tonight when I was hanging out with my kid.
yep, that's the other thing that Access does too.
Before
There's
Access.
a lot of concerts.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, HDNet became Access. Yep.
Yeah. I wonder what happened there. Okay. Did Mark Cuban lose a little bit of money and had to join with somebody and rebrand, or did they just rebrand?
Hell, I mean, it's just like Spike Network became the Paramount Network.
Well, that one, Spike Network failed.
Right.
And Paramount, I don't know if they're one company owns both and just did that, but I kind of think that HDNet was they were the first company, one of the first channels that was all HD, and now they're well, everyone's HD.
Right.
We don't need to be called high definition.
So they
network.
have.
Let's just rebrand ourselves. Or did they fail?
All I ever see on that channel is
Access is cool music.
Nothing But Trailers. They do a lot of concerts, and then they have. That's where the New Japan Pro Wrestling is on TV, and they also have
not music video, documentaries.
Documentaries, but they also have. They just got to sign a deal with Women of Wrestling, Wow Wrestling, Women of Wrestling. And I haven't watched it yet, but so I mean that's what they're focusing on is music and wrestling apparently.
I mean, their on-demand library is really fun to watch, and that's kind of where I think they're noticing well, everybody's watching all these shows. Let's just keep putting money into the shows, like concert shows.
Right.
I really can't name anything else that's on there, as far as original programming.
Yeah, I can't either.
True TV is starting to build itself as a comedy network, whereas 5 years ago it was the Cops Network.
Is True the one that Impractical Jokers is on?
Yeah, it's the Impractical Jokers Network, and they have Those Who Can't. They got the Tacoma Pete or FD that Kevin Heffernan and Steve
Yeah, is
Levy.
that the channel that the Carbonaro Effect is on too? The comedian or the magician?
Could be.
Good.
Every time they have John Glazer Loves Gear, which is one of the funniest shows of all time. What?
That's playing right now.
Come on, Corey. DJ.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're becoming a real network out of nowhere. It's it's got to be, and they've been around for so long that it's got to be tough. If you're a new network, whereas I got to think Vice is struggling right now, and they only launched a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm oh, Vice is going to get rebranded, guarantee it. Give it a few years, there won't be a Vice network anymore. It'll just go back to being a show on HBO.
the problem is with Vice is that I love their shows, but I never I couldn't tell you where when is this particular show on, let alone could I even tell you that it's on the Vice channel. But if I'm flipping around and come across it, I'll watch it. What's the one with the big bearded guy that goes to the New York restaurants all the time?
Oh, Fuck That's Delicious?
Yes. Yep. I love that show.
Yeah. What about It's Supper Time with Maddie Matherson or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those shows are fantastic, but I don't know when they're on.
Abandoned with.
I just find them when I'm flipping around.
They're all on Hulu.
Yeah, they've all become. I think they were smart. Vice is smart where they realize okay, our programming's good. Let's not be a stupid network like a Viacom one that makes it incredibly hard to watch our shit. It's available pretty much right away, or as soon as the last episode in the season ends. You don't have to wait a year to watch it. It's there a week later on Hulu. They're let's let people watch our shows because I gotta think they get a kickback on the ads for the people who are just cheap and they don't pay the extra $2 for ad-free Hulu.
What do you guys think of this beer?
For real? Do you have commercials on Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh. Whole different game without it.
What's the price difference?
$3. I don't know. We use Hulu a shitload.
Same.
And occasionally there's one show where they're we have to run an ad during this show. And then they're like, do you want it at the beginning or the end of the show? And we're like, the end. And we just turn it off.
They're starting that?
No, there's like, because of licensing, it was like, there was 2 shows that we've noticed that do that. And they let you choose when you watch the one commercial break.
Okay.
And it's always after the credits roll. We're like, okay. Pretty easy to hit the back button.
Right.
No, I don't watch anything on Hulu
Even their originals are great.
unless, like I was saying, unless it's an original, or if it's something like off of one of the Universal,
Yep.
NBC Universal channels that we forget to set the DVR for.
Okay.
So you're still living the cable life, which is cool because cable is the most reliable and stable platform. Occasionally you get like a buffering and all that shit and cable is the coolest. I don't want to spend the cash
So
or be locked down.
here's why I am okay with spending a cable bill yet. A, I have had mine long enough that I'm not under a contract. Like I can get out of it at any point.
Mhm.
But
That's what you think.
Oh my god, unplugging all those fucking boxes.
my employer reimburses me for my internet because I office at home.
Nice.
So that's in my mind, okay, that's taking a portion.
Goddamn, Corey, do you know how much
So-
money you would save if your internet was paid for? Which that's half the bill. I have DirecTV now, which is $40 a month. If your internet was paid for,
Yeah.
your cable bill would drop to $40 a month. I'm just
Right.
saying that'd be cool as fuck because I still pay like a $50 internet bill on top of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
you just gotta have a good stable thing to stream it on. Which the new 4K Fire Stick, we don't have a 4K screen, but the processor in it's really fast,
Okay.
so it handles everything really. I've noticed it works a lot better. than
Here's
normal.
what I've noticed at our house. So we have a smart TV in the living room, but we also have the Xbox One in there. Sometimes the streaming in there is kind of shit. If we're watching something on Amazon or Netflix, I shouldn't even say so much Netflix. It's more Amazon. At least once during an hour-long show, it'll stop because of buffering, and you have to like back out and then restart it.
That's ridiculous.
Like you can pick up where
Yeah.
you left off, but you know,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How many routers do you have in your house?
routers just one.
There you go. That the idea of one router in a house
It's stupid.
nowadays they have we have Google Wi-Fi, and what
Yes,
it does is
that's cool.
you plug one in with your Wi-Fi or with your Ethernet cable, right? The rest of them you scatter throughout your house, and you just plug them in just to the wall. No other things.
Well, I've got like a Wi-Fi extender.
But those, so like a TP-Link extender and stuff, you need like a full system like that has been built to work with each other. It meshes your house together. Like we put 3 upstairs, and for a while we had just one router, and it did not do shit. Like it was tough. We struggled in certain parts of the house. Now everything is just interconnected, and you run it. We have 3 access points, and they all work seamlessly to the point where like it's the same signal basically.
So is that different than my router itself having like 5 different signals? Because like I can
Big
log
time, big
I
time.
can log on
And-
to
No, what
Google Wi-Fi will always make each device that's hooked up to it, and it'll automatically make it as fast as possible. Put it on different channels, put it on whatever.
right.
They'll try to get the fastest internet to that device.
Well, so you're saying you have 5 signals coming out of there. That's not the same as it's all one signal, except that if you go from one room to the next room, it'll bump you on the closest one, and it's all the same
gotcha.
signal. No new password. No, you're not joining a new network.
I
There's
mean-
different or what do they call that? Waves or
where we run into
there's
problems
2.4 or
Yeah,
what's the other
there's
one?
another Wi-Fi signal that's coming out soon.
Oh, really?
So just hold on to your butts for that to be behind the times already.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let me give you an example. Back on like 2 weeks ago, the Sunday of the Pro Bowl, So it was a while ago. The Royal Rumble was taking place.
Taking shape.
And so it was on the WWE Network. Colt and I were trying to watch that in the living room on the Xbox One because our smart TV doesn't have the WWE app. And Chrissy was streaming something on Hulu or something, Amazon Prime or something.
She was streaming video.
In another room. And then Joe was upstairs streaming video. So by the time we had 3 different devices streaming video, we were getting a lot of lag and shit like that on where we were watching the Royal Rumble. I don't know if Chrissy and Joe were having problems as well. But
That sounds like a speed issue.
Right.
Your Wi-Fi speed, as far as what you're paying for.
right, I've got the fastest internet that we can have over there.
What is that?
150 something or one.
It's not bad. I paid for 55 meg here, and I went in and I'm just like, my download speed, my upload speed, I clock them all the time. The best I can do is like 30 or something like that. And I'm like, what? Like, and then she goes, yeah, you're paying for a speed that we can't actually get you to your part of town. She like bumped me down to the next one. She's like, there's no point in paying for it.
Right.
And I think I'm paying for 25 meg now.
And I think that's what I had was like 50, is it 56 maybe? 55, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I have. And they offer one higher package, but they said that where I'm at, they can't get me that.
Jesus Christ. What channel are you on?
It's all, it's
me.
it's my cover playlist.
Yeah, that's your speed thing. Let's just keep on rolling on that.
I know. I wish we'd get like badass like gigabit down here.
Oh, okay. You've lived in Mankato.
Oh yeah, with charter internet.
That is like
And
we don't know what
Rochester.
fast fucking internet is.
Mhm. Had it in Rochester
Jesus.
too. I had their cable. I liked it so much. I like had a big ass cable box just in my bedroom. Because like it was, I'm only buying it for me.
Yeah. So like we can go in the family room. The old school Xbox 360 is hard lined in because it's literally sits a foot from the router. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna hardwire that. And that we can watch anything, anytime because there's no issues, you know.
So you're
obviously,
losing
hardware.
speed over your router. So
Yep.
you need a new router.
My router is less than a year old.
Then get Google Wi-Fi.
I might have to figure out something.
It's like $250.
Amazon just bought Eero. Eero is also the same concept as Google Wi-Fi. Just pay attention to that because Eero is really good, but they used to cost a lot of money. 2 routers was $500. I have a feeling that with Amazon buying them, that's about to get disrupted.
Right. They'll compete.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we're done being white and nerdy,
Yep.
one man mosh pit. Need your rankings. Corey, I know, whatever, you didn't have it now, but you had it earlier.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4.8.
Solid 4.8. Nice. I gave it a 3.75. Adam?
That's a 4 beer. 4.
4.0.
Yep.
Just like,
Yeah, you guys both mistook it for Spearfall.
Yeah, old Spearfall.
Oh, old.
That's what I kept on thinking. I'm like, okay, Spearfall's old. I don't know.
let's do this again next
That was
year.
in my mind.
Okay, we'll do it next
Spearfall
year.
time for real. I believe you that, yeah. And also, I gotta get a 4-pack of One Man Mosh Pit to just chill in my own time and just drink
Yes.
4 in a row and really
Yes.
figure it out. And then the currently we are drinking, if you want to do a read or
This
whatever.
is Exile Brewing Company's Beatnik Sour. This is from Des Moines, Iowa. It is a Berliner style Weiss ale, but yet it's called a sour. 5.0 alcohol by volume. Let it sit, let it be. Berliner Weiss for you and me. Can you dig it? Sucker. Exile Brewing Company, 1514 Walnut Street, Des Moines, Iowa. If you want to call them, it is 515-883-2337. Give them a ring.
Say what's up.
I like this beer.
Yeah, so did I.
That's good.
I'm gonna give it a
Then I'm through with you.
3.8.
Nice. I give it a 4.0.
3.5.
Nice.
Good.
So we just heard an Eve 6 cover.
Yeah.
This summer, touring the lead singers of Marcy Playground, Eve 6, Fountains of Wayne, and Everclear acoustic. Would you see that show?
Yes.
How far would you travel?
Yeah, I mean, is this a
Oh,
jackpot or is it, you know,
I'd travel.
in
pretty
Appleton,
far.
Wisconsin?
No, it's as close as Sioux Falls. I'm not interested in going. I'm just curious what you guys like. I like the idea of it, but like you're saying, if it was the Rib Fest entertainment, I'm
Cranberries.
like, I'm going to Mankato. Hell yeah.
Right.
I don't. It's on a Saturday or a Friday in Sioux Falls. I'm pretty sure. No, it might be a weeknight. Regardless, even if it was a Saturday night, I don't think I want to travel.
Are you
2 hours.
interested in going to see Hootie at the state fair?
Because of the
Yes.
state fair? No,
Right.
but I would absolutely like to see Hootie on this tour, on their reunion tour. I love Hootie and the Blowfish.
We cannot go.
Okay.
Because,
Is
but
that the only time he's in Minnesota?
I think so. I'd like to check the tour dates and see if there's.
Fuck.
They. Hootie is the they.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But that's college moving weekend.
Oh, bummer.
Colton, so
Whatever. Yeah.
no,
Did you already get tickets?
no.
No.
So
Well, at least you're not out.
right.
Yeah, I would definitely see Hootie, just not at the state fair. I don't like the idea of doing that. I don't even want to go to county fairs because you're paying double admission.
You might go to. Would you go see Weird Al
Sure.
at State Fair?
No, I like Weird Al.
I have no desire to go see Weird Al in concert.
I
Like
do.
I think it's kind of funny to listen to.
I'll just
but-
say it. You got to be fucking amazing, and like for me to want to go to the state fair
Right,
to see you,
right.
I don't want to deal with that. I would.
Would you go
much-
see to the State Fair to see Bruce Springsteen?
Yes,
Okay.
I would go see the Replacements if they're reunited.
Okay.
Like it has to be that level.
Right.
Like I had an opportunity to purchase Jim Gaffigan tickets. Like I got pre-sale info. Nah. Like I'd like to see Jim Gaffigan, but
Not at the State Fair.
eventually he's gonna come to Jackpot.
Just like Vince Neil.
He's played every frickin' venue you could think of this side of the moon. Like eventually he's gonna start
Is that
hitting the
Vince
rural
Neil or
areas.
Brett Michaels. That's
No, it's Vince Neil.
It's Vince
coming.
Neil coming to
Oh,
Jackpot.
Brett Michaels has probably played Jackpot 30 times in the last decade.
yeah. I heard like overplayed. Like, isn't that Brett Michaels?
Yeah,
He's like all over the place all the time.
he is. Well, folks, we got our rankings in. I think we tried too many beers for me to take that picture. So for the Instagram, it's gonna be a wide lens one this time.
So next week it looks like we'll have the Tiramisu Funeral Bar from Surly, the Sleep from Surly,
Great Divide.
the Great Divide Coconut Milk Stout from. Or no, sorry. Titan IPA, the Coconut Milk Stout from Untitled Art, and the Casper White Stout.
Be careful on what you're doing because one, I could drink all these in between the week, and two, this is a risk you're running by promoting what we do next week. Because the other thing is, we might find something like, no, fuck that. Look at these other 3 beers that we just
Yes.
found.
That's fine.
True.
It
That
happens.
is so true.
We may try these beers,
There you go.
but we may find something fantastic in the meantime. I myself have about 7 other beers in my fridge at home that what did I send you guys pictures of?
Too many.
Too
A
many.
lot. I think I counted it was like 16 of them.
I've got another
And I
one.
said, how
from-
many
from
refrigerators do you have?
Just 2.
Just 2. Okay.
One in the kitchen and one for beer.
One in the kitchen, one in the stink.
Something like that.
And on that note, Follow us on social media at Pilsner Pod.
Wait, I got to give him my look. Doesn't work as well when it's that far.
Oh,
across
We'll
the line.
realign. We'll realign.
Did I tell you guys I bought a new car this week?
To be continued. Okay, we're off air.
You bought a car.